To the afternoon rundown, the show where you choose what we talk about. The big kahunas, they're locked in, they're ready. Make sure to get your vote every day on the midday show there in the chat. Let's start off with the futures. Essentially break even right now on the triple Qs at 465. We were barely above it. Seems like a bit of a flat day. The Mag 7 really haven't participated in this move. It's been strictly Nvidia and the chips kind of keeping the NASDAQ afloat here. But GameStop, the #1 requested ticker by you guys. Again, a nice little move there for GameStop, trying to trade above 25 right now, but it's been a bit of a tougher look. What's your look right now, guys, on GameStop?
So welcome back to everybody. I'm just getting everything all set up here. Yeah, Obi, how are you doing?
Good, how are you? How was your lunch break? How was the recording?
Couldn't be better, my guy. Could not be better. The recording was really, really well. When you're working with such a professional like Mr. Brendan Wickens, it just becomes easy to do, you know. So we did that. We got the Freedom Wealth podcast. You can see what kind of a day we're having right now by looking at that board right now. We're $3 in the money on Meta and $2 right now on Nvidia. And what a great day. We just talked about this going over. I tweeted it out a couple times. I know we will talk about GameStop. Nvidia's next, so we'll watch that. But we just got a piece out there at that top. Like, we've been playing some of this, and we'll get to it. All right, GME. I don't have a fill on GME today, and the thing is that it came pretty darn close to getting us in. And I think if I was on the stock and paying more attention to it, this happened so early. We were looking at Apple. It's amazing the day, kind of how it's turned out, considering I got rinsed on Apple. Hopefully that's on the board, which it's not. We'll talk about that. Ooh, Palantir, I like this stock. That's #4. All right, so here we go. I was just outside, and it was like so hot out there, Obi. Really? And I was like, all right, so I was gonna go get one of those iced matchas again, right? And I was gonna be like, okay, because I know Adara likes it. I meant it to Ramin, and then she's like, you're actually gonna go out for a walk in this like crazy heat? And then I sort of was like, okay, because I was gonna ask, you know, if we were going to do a Starbucks run, and then I got out there, and I'm like, damn, she's right. This is hot as hell out here. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? And then so I just did my normal walk, talked to the wife there, and I was like, yeah, I'm not waiting in line and trying to bring these Starbucks. Damn it, we need to do some Uber Eats, get some Starbucks going through. But at the end of the day right here, I mean, Uber Eats is so expensive. You wind up paying just as much for the delivery fee, Ramin, as you do for the drink. We like to get GME down here at $23. We knew that there's a huge support level, end of day, right? The way GameStop's been moving, you have to keep your eye on it. For me, I was in something else. It did come right into that level. We said buy 23. It went to 23.50. My bid was at 23.25. It's still there. And it just didn't fill. Whoa. And the reason why, well, what are you saying whoa for?
Market's tanking?
Yeah, we're now, you know what we're doing now? Meta.
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning, is Meta on the board? Man, you guys are requesting the wrong damn names back here. No, but honestly, so GameStop just missed opportunity. I just want to look at the daily chart to figure out why we got 23. Obi, I try to keep it as simple as possible, and me and you were talking about how to hold on maybe for longer and how to do different things. And so I'm always trying to, you know, gain information from smart guys like this, and my basic strategy is support and resistance, and then we look to dig a little bit deeper. Well, right there, $23 was a great level. It was a great level if you were short until it broke and gapped higher. That would have been fun for you. Congratulations covering somewhere up here. We talked about this as one of the trades of the week, breaking through this level. It did that, and it was fantastic. You got a double up, and now you're just back into this area again. Seems like there's a lot of support down here. I don't know if it's options related or what, but GameStop seems to want to stop in and around that 23.50 area. So if it can come back in, we'll be there at the end of the day. But hey, great level there on the minute chart. I would just say, not even try to trade this too technically. I don't know if it's gonna hold VWAP or what, but I'm waiting for that support. High of the day, 26. You got 250 clean back up to the upside. We've seen rallies at the end of the day in this name. Also, we see dumps. So I don't, you know, for right now, I'm gonna be hands off of GameStop.
Yeah, so yeah, GameStop, nice little sideways consolidation, right? We end of day range yesterday, little interesting as it broke below that 27, and coming in today, we've done nothing but kind of visit that range. Sure, we had some volatility off of prior day low, visits the high of that range from prior day, and then now we're just holding above VWAP. So 25, definitely an interesting level there. But what's a little more interesting to me, if you look back a little further left, is that 20 mark that we kind of struggled to break down for the longest time on this what is this? In between May and June, you attempt to break down into that 20. We're still holding above those there, so that's definitely interesting if it continues to hold some of these higher highs, higher lows relative to this action here.
Day for NVIDIA today and for the overall chip sector in general. A lot of them very much in the green. NVIDIA today with a headline from Wells Fargo raising the price target to 155. But there was also a midday headline, a new partnership with HP. They're going to work on AI together. Didn't really give details too much about it, but a good partnership there. And NVIDIA bumped higher, excuse me, on top of that news. What is your look on NVIDIA, guys?
NVIDIA, never heard of it. I just want to, right here, just quickly here, Rome 24, it says Obi versus Sean on NVIDIA trade. Who gonna win?
Ooh.
Who gonna win, Obi? Who gonna win?
Just taking a quick scalp.
Obi. No, I was.
The market came in.
No, I was gonna get to it. The reason why I want to get to it, because it doesn't matter. You're short at 135. What are you short at? 135.50.
Yeah,
right. I'm long at 134. Like they're completely different trades, to which, and it's good because I want to bring it up because we're talking about NVIDIA, and and the difference here is because we have different time frames, different ideas behind these trades. We've been in once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Not only that, we talked about buying dips and retracements for NVIDIA. We were just $2 and change in the money as NVIDIA went up to 136. This has been a heck of a trade for me all day. It's by P&L number 1, and I think just structurally, it's been the best trade that I've made all month. I mean, we talked about going long early. We waited for 131. It danced around. We took it off pre-market lows. That was huge. Then we wrote down 132.50 on Sir Sticky Note right here. And then we took that, and that was huge. Then we took the 134 break, and that was great. Then it came back in, and we reloaded it. And then since then, it's just been nothing but love to the upside for NVIDIA. So, hey, look, I said this before we left.
Yes.
This is trading like a meme stock. Once it breaks levels, it goes. There has to be a ton of options available for this. A lot of buying, selling, everything. It just keeps on ever since this thing split up. I mean, we talked about what that would do. Bring more retail into it. When more retail comes into names, this is what can happen, man. This came over to the NASDAQ split adjusted price, as we know, 118. It's 136, like it's added already 15% on its name for no reason again. Broadcom came out with a monster quarter. Broadcom helping NVIDIA. This is not the same, man. NVIDIA is not the same. You have Micron, which is a huge name. We'll get to that after. That's trading amazing and still going. AMD going to be a little different. NVIDIA you have to treat as a completely different beast. And it was and is #1 name on the sticky note, and it's my P&L #1. It's double Meta. And that Meta trade is now $4 in the money. So it's just the confidence of having the 1, the 2, the 3, the 4 loads in this really was what helped me out. And I feel like also, filming the podcast in the middle of the day too and putting out orders at key levels, obviously it was 135.50 and 135 just allowed me to get out in stages up there with respecting the stop order of the 50-period moving average. So, I mean, it's been a great trade there for NVIDIA. And as certain people would say, I do like the stock.
Oh yeah, definitely. See, I got stopped out there. I did take, it was just a quick scalp there. As the market came in, NVIDIA potentially broke a little bit of a shorter term trend there. I was like, all right, is it ready to pull back in just yet? No, it's not. It bids right back up into 136, kind of recovering back into the trend that it's been having all day. So yeah, it was just a quick little scalp. But yeah, very, very strong on the day, as you can see. Unfortunately, I was not involved in any of the longs in through some of these levels. Sean and I were talking about this, kind of this prior day consolidation high, 132 halves. I know Sean had that entry as well. That was definitely a snipe. And then kind of just structure breaks along the way. So very, very strong, pushing for fresh highs here on NVIDIA with the strong tech sector. Now, again, something to note is that it's not really reflective of the rest of the Mag 7. If you take a look at Softy or Apple or Alphabet or Amazon, none of them are really doing the same thing. It's only NVIDIA that's really pushing up on the day. So it is kind of doing its own thing on NVIDIA, quite strong on the day.
All right, heads up here, guys. The Boeing testimony right now has already started. David Calhoun being questioned by Senator Blumenthal. So keep your eye on Boeing. You can get some movement here as the questioning progresses. Amazon, though, next on the list, and this one had all sorts of trouble with the volume-weighted average price. I missed my initial entry over here trying to get in at VWAP, but I definitely got it over here, and I was able to ride this one a little bit, thinking that the next move up was going to break VWAP, but it didn't. Actually ended up breaking down again. Did you guys look at Amazon today? Maybe I should ask the Amazonian.
Yeah, I was watching. I was definitely watching.
I'm not the Amazonian.
I know that Sharif
I
was
have a hard time
involved.
keeping up with these names.
I know.
I shorted
know that
Boeing,
Sharif
by
was
the way.
involved.
Sharif did bring
Yeah,
up.
he's on CNBC right now. I think was it the CEO or something?
Yeah, Calhoun there.
But yeah, no, Amazon. I was watching it today. We kind of talked about it here. This is a 5-minute chart with the VWAP, but you can see like strong flush off of the open, wipes it all back. Can't really get past this pre-market high wick, and then wipes all of that and more into prior day's low. And then again, if you guys were watching the midday how to trade session, we were talking about how the low on the day of Amazon today was only about 20 pennies off of prior day's low, where that strength came in and bid all the way from 181.20s all the way to 185. So it caught a little bit of a bid in that same area back in to and through VWAP for a bit there, and VWAP is as of right now holding as a bit of resistance as it builds up into it. But yeah, let's see where this market goes. Amazon was quite a wild one if you had it off the open there.
Yeah, so just quickly here, because Boeing is doing some things here. So we did just short it right here, trying to see about VWAP, trying to see about 175. So right now we're just short here at 174.52. It's basically flat. We just sort of punched in here. We do have some bids down here. There's more than a dozen Boeing whistleblowers apparently lined up. So we'll see what happens. I mean, it can't be good news, right? I mean, they don't blow the whistle for no reason here, unless you're Elon Musk and you like start selling whistles and everything. All right, so we'll wait to see what right here. I'll just want to go over Meta because it's not on the board and it's just another big tech name. So right when we left earlier today, we talked about the trade that we were looking for, and it was Meta back to 500. Meta broke 500. It happened right when we left everybody. Then we wanted to play 50 period, and we did that, and that worked, man. And I want to thank Obi. Obi mentioned to me, I said, I'm bidding 498. He goes, why are you bidding 498? I said, Obi, just let me handle this. And then
I wasn't trying to tell you how to trade or anything.
No, it was fun. I'm just having fun, Obi. This is what we do on the show. This is not, and then you said,
it's got more.
And you even said that then.
Yeah.
You're like, no, do whatever you want to do. Yeah. But then look at that, man. I said, yeah, don't worry, because I have a 495 bid as well. And yeah, to have been able to hold all the way, fine. But this is a monster trade, man. I mean, this is $3-4. This is a 501 tick right there on Meta, and that out is 495.50. So that's $6 right there on Meta to the downside. And so we get basically that very bottom, and now it's trying to dance. So just to see what we're talking about, 200 period break, and I think we'll get out of half of what we have left, and then we'll see if we can go a little bit lower on this one. But Meta's been a doozy of a trade here today, and I'm embarrassed to say that I did not trade Palantir today. Let me go find out what Sharif has to say.
It just printed day's high right now, Sean. Nice move up today for Palantir, up about 2 2/3. That's after experiencing a 6% bump yesterday on the back of the upgrade from Argus research analyst Joseph Bonner. He likes the stock with a buy rating and a price target of $29. Continuation today, Sean, at day's high.
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm just looking at this trade. I mean, it wasn't really on my radar today. I didn't see... Generally, I'll come in, we'll read the watch list, we span through Twitter and some websites that we'll check, make sure that there's catalysts involved, and try to trade names that we're thinking might move for some kind of a reason, right? And I mean, we've always, no, I don't want to say always, but I always look at Palantir. And I did today again, and I just didn't see where this move was coming from. I mean, great move into the close yesterday. It actually held up. So this could have been an indicator. And again, we'll learn more every day. Yesterday's close, a lot of tech names fell down. Palantir did not. So that could have been something to look at, right? We can look at a little undercover brother, maybe with Snowflake, because that was trying to break to the low side. We can have another look right there. But Palantir continues to work. Everybody was all boo-hoo about them not getting added to the S&P 500. Meanwhile, Palantir just goes right back to highs again. And I mean, just look at the daily chart right now. You're at a spot where we might, whoa, oh, that's right, I still have that to count that. little calculator there, ruler. You're at a level right here where it's going to be decision time for some of the traders that were long. So if you're down long from down here where we talked about this, 20, 21, 22, breaking through the 50-period moving average, again, quite the extension move higher, but does Palantir have it in it? Yes, it does. I mean, it's already gone numerous times off of some of these breakouts, right? So breaking out, looks like it's doing it again right now. I'd say 27 looks reasonable to me, but you're gonna have to see what happens by the end of this week. Because if we start to bang our head against 26, again, it's been here before, we could retrace. I like the long. Let's see if we can get it back to 25. That would be pretty nice for an entry. But for right now, it's just kind of at these levels, maybe a 26 break long, but it just had this 50-cent move out of nowhere right here. So I like Palantir, shy of knowing what the news is.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, that acceleration that we've had just now. But something I think is of note here is that take a look at this earnings reaction high here, Sean. So prior earnings high, you have right at 26.43. So just shy of a point away from that price, and we're kind of accelerating on the day. Look at that R-vol, that volume coming in to this push. So we did sell off of earnings reaction, kind of consolidated sideways, held that 20 mark, and then kind of trickled right back up towards some of these highs. So yeah, it should be interesting if this thing can get to 26, but very, very strong on the day. Again, something to note is that volume. You can see that volume kind of potentially not as much on the daily chart. It is kind of higher in the past couple of days that have had some strength pushing up, but definitely doing some R-vol in both the pre-market and during the day here, as you can see at the lower side of my screen. So it does some R-vol in the pre-market and then bids up continuation of the leg that happened yesterday on Palantir.
Well off the highs and actually flat in the day now is Micron. Wedbush analyst Matt Bryson liking this, reiterating the outperform, boosting the price target from $130 to $170. That's a decent premium, $13 off the high today. This one was at $157, but as you see, guys, really retracing here with the overall market. What is your look on Micron?
Right, so I just put a stop in for Meta to get out of some of these shares if we do wind up taking that 50-period moving average. So as we were just talking about Palantir there, we can zoom in a little bit here for Meta. So there it is right there. It hasn't meant that much, but I want to try to get out at some point. And then Obi and I were talking before about this closing of candles and whatnot. That top wick is 498. So we kind of wick that top anyways. So if we break higher than that, we'll be able to get out of it. Just try to save ourselves a little bit of cash right there. Look, Micron was on the watch list today, and what a doozy it was to start the morning. Breaking above that 150, we love that trade. You know, again, I was asked a couple weeks ago by Brendan, you know, what were some of the more important things I look for on opening trades, and it was really just these kind of gaps. Right, when you get good news and a stock can gap like this, gap over a key level or even to a key level, I look for it to be support or a breakthrough. And I mean, that happened real early today. We just started to go. If you're gonna look at the open, I mean, you wanna talk about catalysts. Again, Bank of America upgrade through that 150. My problem is, as we sit here and talked about it, I said I'd like to see if it tests back in here to 150 like it did on these dark pools. But that never happened. Micron opened up, and the next thing you knew, it was $5-6 higher, reaching that 157.50. Again, well extended up. I'd rather take these profits, and if I thought the space was gonna work, I'd rather just roll these right now and into Nvidia, to be honest with you. I feel like Micron could be a little expensive where it is right now. Let me check the PE, because again, I always look at these things because it's just they're so far off. I mean, again, this forward PE, though, is only showing 20 right now for Micron. I don't know if that's a mistake or not, but that's not very high. So potentially Micron has a lot more room to go up to the upside right now. So if you're in this name, I would say you don't have to get out, Obi, until you at least get back down in through this 150 mark, and you might even want to use 148 or so as an out on a swing trade. But Micron really working. There's just so many other names that have continued to work when we focus on names like Nvidia, TSM, AVGO, Broadcom is up for 8 straight days. Right. Micron's up for, it looks like, 8 of 10 days. These names are amazing. The space doesn't seem to be going anywhere. And I have bad news for all of you. AI is here, and it's real.
Oh, it's definitely real.
Are you going to get Optimus?
Oh, Ramin's saying it's actually artificial. I like that one.
Are you doing the recap show today, Ramin? No? Might be an extra long one.
All right. No, Micron, we were talking about this in the morning. Very, very strong
Now I want that matcha tea. I want it.
drive off of the open there. That pre-market high break just goes right through. This is a 3-minute chart. So that was a great trade for those of you who had it. Kind of an opening range break, opening range push, and then makes a top of 157 all the way down from 152. So, and then we get a bit of reversion back down through VWAP, and VWAP has been holding since about 11:30ish mark on Micron. But yeah, that drive was definitely good, and then the pullback as well. So it kind of gave opportunities for both the long and the short, if you like. Whichever one you liked, it definitely gave you opportunities for both. The long coming in quite aggressive right off of the open. But yeah, no, chips are definitely here. AI is the driving force for a lot of these tickers, and you can see that again. As Sean mentioned, TSM, ABGO, all of these tickers are running on the day today.
All right, I think we're getting ready to wrap this thing up. So thanks for that, Obi. I have a new position alert right now. We're going to short Apple. Someone in the chat there just said, thanks so much for mentioning the reweighting this morning. Right here. So, I know, not Trader Forever. Where was it? Right here. Meridian. Hey, Sean, just want to say thanks for mentioning the ETF reweighting this morning. I was all in on Apple, switched over to Nvidia, and yeah, the rest is obviously history as it goes, as Nvidia just continues to go upside. I think that that's the important thing, again, about trying to understand what kind of a trader you are, being either a momentum guy or a catalyst, or just trying to figure out, your way in this crazy world. For me, I got caught in Apple long, but was able to get out of it, and understanding that might have been the problem. We were able to trade around it. So yeah, we did well there, and then we were able to as well switch, like you were, Meridian, over into Nvidia. But right now, there it is. It's already in the money here. We just put 10 cents to our name again. So let's see if we can't bid some of this out now. Look what we're doing. Obi, is this life even real right now? There goes another little scalp. It's not big, it's 15 cents. Let's get out of, I got out of 15% there. Let's see if it wants to make some moves to the downside right now. We will continue to stay in this Apple short. And again, we just shorted it off the 200 period moving average. It's weaker than we thought today, right? Weaker than the market significantly. The market's just turning red. So maybe Apple does have a problem up here in and around 214 and change. So let's try to hold this small little risk. For hopefully a decent sized reward here as we continue to be short here. Apple, we're now, Obi.
Yes, sir.
If you're going to the club, sometimes you need $1. If you want to buy 2 drinks, you might need $2. If you're trying to pick up someone like who's switching over there, you might need $3 or $4 in your pocket right now. Ramin only messes with certain dollar winners. And right there, we now do have Meta, now $4 in the money and trying to go lower right here. So hopefully that will continue to work, and we watch out for Apple. And then what's been really sleepy time here? I don't know what's going on with Boeing. Well, we do know right now with Congress and everything, but we'll wait. That bottom so far is 28s. I was bidding 25s. So we missed that again. And of course I bid quarters. I should just bid a little bit ahead of that. I should know much better than that. All right, so let's go back into Boeing. We'll put a bid out here. We're only flat on it now, but if it comes back in, we do have lower bids to see if Boeing wants to, start to be, pardon the pun, Adara. Let's see if Boeing can get grounded here and get back down to the downside into 174. It's all right. It's not that good. Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's just all right. All right. Apple, though, trying to make a little bit of money here. We'll see if we can bid some 77s. Just take another piece out. Obi, often in the afternoon, we wait for phone calls, which, I'm not answering that guy. Travolta's like, why not? He's Fed chair. But we have bigger things to do around here. We're just trying to do this.
He is running. Yes.
You're having a fantastic day. You just want to make sure that you have the right decisions and then capitalize and sort of put right decisions on top of right decisions. Don't chase bad money after good and vice versa. So
yeah, for sure.
All right.
As soon as we kind of came on and that market started dumping there, I did get stopped out of the Qualcomm. I was holding it for pretty much all day there. I was like, all right, well, this is consolidating. A lot of the chips are going. Maybe this is just winding up for a push up further. That never really came, as I was looking for that 230 to kind of push off. But it was held down, consolidating above VWAP, comes right back in, gets stopped out. I did get involved right back in because it did kind of pop down and then rip right back. Well, not really rip, but bid back up back towards some of these highs. So just trying it again one more time if I can get rid of this wick. But I am kind of interested here in a bit of this Nvidia. I did get stopped out, but we did rip right back up to towards these highs, wick it by a few pennies and come right back down below that 136 as the market is starting to quadunk back down to the downside here. So I am kind of patiently waiting just to see if there's any clean entries here for a potential reversion. I have no idea, but Softy's coming back down to the downside. We know that a lot of these other names have been quite heavy as well. Spider is pulling back as well, and of course, Alphabet's only been making low day lows since the open there. But yeah, 135.70 is coming in. So we did get a little bit of a rebid into 136. Now let's see if we start to kind of bend this trend here, Sean, as Nvidia again pushing up very aggressively. I don't want to get caught up in another kind of Apple debacle like yesterday where I was trying to short all day, and then when the reversion actually comes in the last half hour, I'm not necessarily involved. So I definitely have to pack my patience a little bit for that one to see if it'll come in. But yeah, no, if there's a name I should be shorting, it would be Alphabet, as Alphabet has only been trending down all day. So take a quick look at this one here. Wow, this is absolutely beautiful. Definitely take a look at this backside on Google. Look at that. Nice little VWAP rejection, continues to make lower lows and lower highs, and then breaks that prior day low as well, 175, testing 174s as of right now. So Google definitely one to watch for the short side. Distinctly different from the Nvidia trade, nonetheless, as Nvidia still holds this trend here. So let me pull up that Nvidia. Oh, there goes Qualcomm right back in. So this is what I had kind of was looking at earlier today. Had the long in and around here, just 2760s, and I was like, all right, well, I thought that it was a good price in the morning for a push past pre-market highs. Doesn't really come in, consolidates chops. I guess looking back at it, I should definitely have kind of stopped out of this trade, kind of timed out of the trade as it was taking forever to come to fruition. Not really giving me what I was looking for, as again that 230 didn't really come in. But if it comes right back in to these day lows and then bids right back up, that's where the bid was in the morning. Maybe I can look for that bid again at that same place as of right now, and it's showing a little bit of strength pulling back in off of this 227 level. So let's see how far we can get with that one there. But let us know in the chat what you guys are watching. Yeah, what is the next trade? I am definitely asking myself. I know I missed a lot of trades, a lot of playbook trades as well, which I'm kind of missing out on, but no regrets. And what's the next trade is always the question there. So I will be looking for, I guess, another one is ARM. Sean, have you seen ARM today?
You mentioned, I hadn't until you mentioned.
Absolutely 7%
or $7? What was it?
I don't know how much percent it's up on the day, but definitely a decent amount. So we can just do a quick measurement here. So up over 8% off of some of these lows there. So yeah, so 8.5 almost. So look at that, nice little VWAP test, breaks right back up. 175s all the way from 158 on the ARM today. So let's take a quick look left and see what we're really breaking out of. I know we're breaking out of all-time highs, that's for sure. Let me get this VWAP out of the way here. So earnings reaction high, 164s. We come right back into it today. And then prior all-time highs, I think, was 167.62s from just last Friday. And we did break both of those levels, both the earnings reaction high and prior week high and all-time highs. A little bit of confluence happening going into that 170 break on ARM, and it still can't stop, won't stop into that 175 test coming in as of right now with a 174.80 high. So let me know in the chat if you guys had ARM, were you guys trading ARM on the day? It is absolutely going crazy to the upside as of right now, as of all day really. Yeah, nothing too much else that's moving like that other than Nvidia and maybe a little bit of the SPY, but SPY's been kind of sideways. So it did break all-time highs, which was yesterday's highs, just for a little bit, and then we pull back off of that level. And I think that confluence with a little bit of this pullback that happened on the market as well, driving a little bit of wiping of the bid on that pullback.
Yeah, you got to be able to watch out for, key levels getting taken out. I mean, we just for example, we're out of 50% here of Apple, and again, we just talked about what the plan was. We came right back into the 50-period moving average. So again, being short here at 90s and getting out at 60s, same thing. That's 30 cents. Not huge, but it's a decent move. So we're just trying to scalp out a little bit right there. Talking about ARM, I mean, someone asked about Google. You were already talking about it. Tesla's been a really good Tesla's been a really good trade today, bouncing, but it's right back up here. I was hoping it was down here already. It's not. So we had hit Tesla until we were wrong. We're still up on Tesla. We sort of talked about that here today. We had it as a 184 long idea on the sticky note, and that's why we kept on defending until eventually we lost 183. Still a very positive name here. Not very positive, but we're still up on it. If you go back and you try to figure out this name, the 200 period is held right there again, trying to loop itself back up here. Again, the problem with sort of trying to take a trade that's kind of stuck in the middle is that's exactly where the futures are. So for me right now, I'm not really, if anything, I don't know if you want to take a breakout here of 185 or I guess more than that, 185.50, because then you've already sort of done this top to 186. That also matches sort of yesterday's bottoms and the pre-market. So I'd almost rather take a breakout up here of 186.50, proving that it wants to go green and get back up to the upside, rather than just kind of dancing around with it now, because we've done this before at this time, and you go short Tesla and then you have your stop, it runs your stop and goes like 30 cents and then comes right back in again. So I'd rather just be patient and see if we can get a move on something like that. I was just noticing crypto is down to 64.7. Not good. We'll have Brian Shannon on tonight. Yep. Maybe we can get that one out a little bit early.
Yeah, no, crypto. Sorry, what?
It's always somebody else. So no. Coinbase is what I want to get at. Here, okay, here's Coinbase. So again, we wrote down 242 would be the short that we'd wanted. It got to 242.50, but as it was coming up here, I did note that I didn't really like the trade anymore because Bitcoin had bounced. But we almost nailed that top, and I was just using the dark pool prints at 8 o'clock for it. So there was nothing really significant about that, so I didn't have full faith in that trade. But you could see it was a decent one as it did pull right back in, and then look at this, 236 holding. So we can have a look at IBIT and some of those other names. If you wanted to trade crypto instead of the coin, you could use the ETF here. Trying to, I guess, break through 65. Like, I don't know where 65 is, maybe 37 and change, because we were there early and then we dropped back in. So again, pretty range bound here for crypto as well. Look, I'm not coming up with too many ideas here as we look. I mean, we're short Apple. We already cashed out. We could get back into this. The stop for Apple is a little bit higher. We sort of talked about it in the 20s. We took 30 cents. We could reload this name again. That's not horrible. I think that might be something that we wind up doing, is just reloading Apple here off the 200 period. It's a negative name. It tried to get going. It could not break back above 25s. So risk to reward here for Apple kind of makes sense. So let's put those shares right back in. I just put an offer at 96 and it ran away. So we'll stay here. If it comes back up to this price, we'll get some more Apple, reload the trade, and see if we can get a nice downside push. And by the way, maybe I'm almost got a date for the club, because right now we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 50 in the money now on Meta as it continues to make a move down. My stop is changing right now to the 50 period. 497.50. You know, it's always good when you can adjust down your stops. Yes. Means it's going in your favor. So we'll do that here. You know what? Let's just go to 497. All right, we break back above 497. We'll get out of half of what we have left here for Meta. So good trade so far. Let's see if we can continue sort of the good vibes here with Meta back through 497 as a stop.
Yeah, so I'm watching this Nvidia here. We did kind of pull back off of that what is it, 136.33 high. Bit of a double top as of right now. You can see that last couple of 15-minute candles, it was this action right here. We did drop down quite aggressively and then picked right back up with a candle close right at 136.21. So I'm watching that 136, candle open at 135.73. So I guess I'm watching that 135.73 to see what we do in and around some of those prices there. Qualcomm not looking too hot as of right now, as it is kind of it broke back below this this range we were doing for a few hours, and it's kind of pushing for its low of day as of right now. You can see this trend was kind of dominant in the morning. It did break that. I was looking for a pushback through 230 off of that mark. Doesn't really come in, breaks back through VWAP, and then now breaking back below some of these lows as well. So yeah, might seem like it does seem like the Qualcomm is over for the attempted push. We did pull back in, but again, the trade might not be over, as we are still consolidating well within some of the strength that we got off of yesterday, right? Yesterday's open was all the way at 215s, 216s-ish, in and around that area, and today we traded all the way 15 points above into 230. So, you know, it's not necessarily the best there in terms of the short. Definitely a little bit of a squeezing action. Nice little continuation happening on the ticker, but consolidation sideways nonetheless. So tomorrow will be definitely interesting. But tomorrow's off. The next trading day is what I mean by that. So with 227 coming right back in, I think I might have, should have been stopped out on that. Okay, yeah, so I will kind of get out of this trade here and kind of look at this Nvidia, I guess. 136, again, very interesting. If the markets are gonna come down, I'm waiting for Nvidia to start breaking trend, if it can even do that here. But other things that are fading, again, like we mentioned before, is Google. So Google is the right ticker to fade, apparently, as it has been trading down all day. So I'm kind of waiting for this to come in to see if we can take a reversion of the backside, as I did miss the backside here. Pretty much look at that nice little volume candle as well. That's a little suggestive there of potential capitulation here on Google. So okay, so you know what? I got to get out of this trade here on Qualcomm if it'll have me. And okay, cool. So done with that one right there. Broke back below that 227, so I don't necessarily want to get involved as of right now. So we'll wait and continue to watch this Nvidia to see if that has any sort of break back to the downside. But Google, oh boy, is that volume candle suggestive of capitulation? I don't know just yet. It didn't really have a euphoric flush to the downside, so it's not really everything I want to see in terms of capitulatory action. But again, with the market pulling back in, this could just be a continuation of the trend. And look at that Qualcomm selling off even further. So definitely a lot of the accumulated longs that were that happened throughout the day over multiple hours, definitely offside below a lot of these prices there. And now we're getting into that day low here, just below that's 226.5 I have on Qualcomm. So another thing I want to mention is the sideways action that the spider has been having. So we were talking about how it did break all-time highs a little bit earlier today, and I was watching that. I was like, all right, well, spider, all-time highs. Look at that strength from yesterday, doing almost 2 ATR there, 141 all the way to 148, so 148 and change. Coming in today, consolidating sideways, 47 to 48, so pretty tight, only about a point or so of consolidation before it attempts that all-time high or that prior day high break, and then comes right back in sideways. So a little bit of consolidative action happening on the SPY. So here comes in 135 on Nvidia there. So I don't necessarily want to be too hasty for a potential reversion trade. We saw what happened yesterday at the end of the day. Didn't really reflect as much there on Nvidia, but if you're looking at something like Apple definitely had a strong flush, recovering or reverting about 50% of the day's range there, going into the close just in the last half hour. And coming in today, we did more of that move. We came right back in to this 213 level on Apple, where we did catch that bid, and take a look at that. A little bit of sideways action happening off of that 213. So we shall wait and see what 213
Never
has in
forget
store
it.
for us. But I was talking to Sean about that 20,200 level here on the NQ. A little bit of a level of interest nonetheless, as it keeps on magneting there, Sean. So I was like, yeah, that 20,200 when we were down here, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if we come right back in and kind of wash some of this level. And I'm like, all right, well, you know, maybe I should turn those ideas into some executions next time, as I think the probability of it was decent in my eyes after what we saw happen here, and it kind of came back and did that. So there goes Qualcomm pushing for low of day here. So let me just go back to that one. Yeah,
low of day now.
Low of day, yeah, exactly. So I did stop out. I attempted, yeah, what a reversal. Again, I definitely should have timed out on this trade here, as it goes sideways on top of VWAP for the longest time, doesn't really make it, and then breaks it back down to the downside there, putting all the longs, intraday longs, offside below some of these prices. So maybe it is time to get a little bit of a backside on the Nvidia itself. Some of these other tech names looking a little suggestive.
All right, yeah, no, I'm with you on some of that, because we just covered, and again, it's kind of the other way right now, because Meta's tried to creep back a little bit. Its low got to 496 and change. We talked about putting the stop for some shares there at 497, so we are pretty much out now of Meta. We only were keeping a small piece, about 10% left. Get out of half, we have 5% stop. This was the big take for us down there, as we were being questioned on why we were getting out so early, and it was 100% right. We're getting out at the 50 period moving average, and then we just decided to let it break 500, and once it did that, we already had it, you know, sort of get to the downside there, and then we just took a piece out. We're pretty light on it. The latest reload is on Apple. We just did it right now. It's not moving, so we'll check that back. My target here for Apple would be this out right now. I'm not trying to go over here. I'm just trying to go right here. That's 25s. Makes sense to me. We're now above the 50. I'm not waiting for VWAP. Apple can get going. I mean, you know, standing in front of this one is a mistake. We know that, so we're not going to do it again. Boeing, man, talk about a little bit of a snooze fest again. This one, I was waiting at 33s, I thought. Oh, that must have been after that. Well, that's twice. So right there we were waiting at 25, and then right there we were waiting at 35s. Both times does not fill, so that kind of sucks right there for us. But that's okay. We'll wait to see now what happens with Boeing. I mean, we're still going to get stopped out through VWAP. Again, the talk is on. I'm just hearing in my ear some of the reports. It's just like, are you going to talk to whistleblowers and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff back and forth. So we'll see what happens with Boeing eventually. Hopefully, we do have a downside move if something ever happens, but our stop is up here at 175. We're very, very comfortable with that. Nvidia, I was going to ride with this. We've broken below the 50. That reload right there was the 50, and then we kind of hovered for a minute. So that would have been something, but it didn't really create too much opportunity for us. So for right now, we've broken back down below. I didn't stop out there. Right when we went on the air, we got a piece out, came back to 136, thought it could go again. So I think a good reload spot for me here would be 135. So let's wait to see if that can come through. Meta's still $3. Tesla's something else to look at. Just because I'm not sure if the chat is working, someone keeps asking about Zoom, so you want to check out Zoom. But is that Zoom Media, or you just want to look at Zoom? Like, there is no Zoom. So you got to look at ZM, I guess, is what you're trying to ask about. Is this at 52-week lows? I'm not even sure. Okay, so here it is right now. So don't ask again, or ban hammer will come out. Zoom is at 52-week low. So look, I mean, I like Zoom, but I know there's somebody else that likes Zoom a lot. So we could try to find out what Kathy's thinking, but I'm sure you can figure that out by some of her posts.
Crazy about that ticker.
She was. I'll have to go check. I don't know where it is in Kathy's arc right now, but I can't say. And Danielle, I can't. We can't necessarily recommend buying this name. When you look at levels here, and I can zoom back in a little bit, you've already broken through this 59 bottom. And now you're kind of asking yourself, all right, well, where is the next bottom? And whenever you're asking those questions, it's not good, because it's hard to invest in something that you can't find a bottom in. I thought for a minute that they were going to be a buyout candidate at some point, right? Their PE is actually quite aggressive, I thought, like to the cheap side. They are making money. They do have some enterprise partners. Where is it? Yeah, look at that, 11 for Zoom. Like that is some, you know, this market is not built equally for all members, man. I mean, I guess the talk of Copilot and how strong Microsoft has been by bringing people into their environment with Google Meet and just everything that's been happening with Meta and just like who's actually using. And by the way, hold on a second, Obi. Yes, oh, damn.
Wow.
Did this just happen again? Like, I know Neil's in a boot and everything like that, but you are really good luck. And I said that we wouldn't talk about luck. Is this trade luck? You know, I mean, let's be honest. We went short. We picked a weak name, right? It was at the 200 period. We had resistance, you know?
Were you prepared for it?
Was I prepared for it?
Yeah.
I'm prepared.
Yeah.
Every minute I'm sitting here.
And you put yourself in the position to get in. Well, so by that definition, I think it is a little bit of luck there.
Luck that I'm sitting here.
No, that's what luck, by definition, Socrates says.
Okay, what is
luck?
it?
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
Luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
You gotta grasp your own luck in this world.
Yeah, and I think you're right about that.
Gotta get a little lucky.
And I was gonna say, scared money doesn't make money.
Yes.
And I think it's something similar there. Yours is obviously much more astute than mine.
It's not mine. It's Socrates. That
yeah, but you're just leveling it up, is what I'm saying. You know, I'm probably quoting some ridiculous trader at some point. But no, I feel like that's true, right? We sat here, we didn't have to make a trade. You know, but again, an opportunity presented itself and we stepped up and took it. And we reloaded it and we talked about it. And so that's why when we put on this show and we're talking about these things, these are just good opportunities at the end of the day, right? To be able to find them is one thing, and that's part of the luck is looking and being able to find something. But when you see it, you know what to do with it. And I like that short. And again, I thought I did a decent job of talking about it. We had it as a catalyst to the short side once we figured out the weighting. And then once, honestly, Apple's my biggest L of the day. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I mastered Apple. I was long Apple here and disgustingly down on it. You know, I'm actually down. Now, I made it back. I was down more right here on this little mess than I actually wound up making on this, on Meta. Okay, because I was more confident at that time of day and I went into Apple relatively hard because yesterday we did really good at 213 long. I thought this little dump back in for Apple would be supported at this bottom. We had wrote it down, did not work, so I lost. I'm completely fine with losing on an idea that I thought was gonna work, the same amount of money on an idea that, again, I thought was gonna work. So it's like what I lose there, I make back here. This looks like a way better trade, and I should have capitalized way more. But I'm glad that I was able to talk to Obi about it because even he was like, why are we getting out of so many shares right here? Let this thing fall, you know. And we did that, and so you know, I want to thank him for some of that. And then right there, 498, and then we put that bid. And again, look at this, Obi. You just go from yesterday's open where we clustered down here at 495, 496. So that's where we put our bid. And able to get out of that. So again, just by looking, digging, and finding something, you're able to sometimes find that canary in a coal mine. And then not only that, but then having the discipline, check out the Freedom and Wealth podcast, again, just to bring it back to real stuff, and to have the discipline to say, I still like the Meta short, but I'm breaking rules here. It looks like it wants to get back up to the upside, so let's get out. By me getting out at 497, we've just saved ourselves, honestly, by getting out of shares, and then now rip back up $1 against you, you actually put that dollar in your pocket and now get a chance to reload it if you wanted to, which is not a horrible idea to do that right there at that level. But Obi, we got fish to fry right here with Apple, and I'm gonna get to Zoom. Apple is moving downside right now. Actually, you have anything to talk about? You wanna look at the Zoom chart for a second? Why don't you call that up, ZM? Sure, have a look to see if you see anything. I just wanna go back to that because we were talking about it. When I see a chart that looks like this, and that was the end of the day, what I was trying to get at, I feel like you have to break back above 60. You have to get going again. I don't even want to talk about like the 200 period moving average is at 66. This is at 56. I would just say you might want to wait for their next earnings report. I'd rather be late to the move than early and get crushed. So what I mean by that is May 20th. Okay, so it's going to be a while because we just had their earnings. Again, not a huge short float. Look at the cash they have on hand, $7 billion. So I feel like there's something to be looked at right there as well. We have a PE ratio here of 21, so we'll have to double check those two numbers. But again, negative EPS. It's not going to be a good name, not in this environment. So unfortunately, I would have to stamp Zoom as being a stay away for now. Don't even bother to average in until you get back above this 50, I would almost say $60 level.
Yeah, no, I know a couple of people who went long near the highs and still are hoping for this name to kind of regain its former glory up here in the multiples of hundreds there. So yeah, definitely not the same ticker it was in 2020 or 2021. You gotta remember that they might have been in the right place at the right time for the environment that we were in during COVID, where it was a lot of work from home and a lot of Zoom calls, and even schools in the education system started picking this up again, and then they overtook Skype as well, if you guys remember what that is. And yeah, so right place at the right time, not really being used as much anymore, but you can see that it was a lot of hype, and that hype faded right back in, and we've been only making lower lows and lower highs since on a much higher time frame on Zoom. So if we just take a look left, we are below this IPO price of $60 as of right now. So again, what that tells me is that anybody and everybody who was long at any price is underwater below this, in and around this $60 level here. So it kind of is interesting to me that it continues to sell off quite aggressively post breaking through that $60 mark here on Zoom Video Communications Inc. But yeah, I think there's good reason to. Every long is offside below that $60 level there, Sean. So. We'll see what this name does. Maybe this should go on the radar here. If it continues to catch a multi-day sell-off, you can see that right here. We broke 60 just a few days ago. What is this? Last Thursday. So last Thursday, that selling has pretty much continued, making lower lows and lower highs on the daily and on the intraday. You can see the little bit of volume increase as well. Let's go back to the daily chart here. So you can, yeah, maybe not too much of a volume increase since earnings, because earnings came in with some decent volume, but a little bit of strong red bars on the volume, I guess, bars there on Zoom info. So that's what I'm saying there on Zoom.
A lot of momentum the wrong way there if you're...
Yeah.
A lot of momentum against you if you're trying to grab the long, but thank you for the question again in the chat. Okay, so just real quick, man, the market is trying to do something. But not much of anything, as we very much continue this kind of barcode. I think if you scan that with your phone, it will probably just take you to a beach or something like that, so it tells you what to do. But thanks for staying with us right now. Yeah, this is just again, this is just a meeting with Calhoun, and we sort of were talking about that, going back and forth here on Boeing, post-COVID talking about, you know, how Boeing could be better. We're not really necessarily thinking that the world's gonna hit here for Boeing. So if it does come through, we're right at VWAP. We just took another bit of shares. You could see my average price right now is 60. Looks like, there we go, just came out. So that's kind of strange. Did it even break? I guess it must have broke. So anyways, we are there. We get out at 175. So we'll hit a fail. We only have 2 red stocks today, and we just put it on Boeing. Again, not a huge trade. If there's ever news-related trades, how you'll see me basically play that is lesser shares just waiting for bigger moves. Like, generally, I just wouldn't sit in this thing for a half hour waiting for it to break, but I was hoping for something. So again, we'll lose about 7 or 8% of our net on the day. I think that's pretty reasonable. I don't think that's an unbelievable amount, maybe too much actually, just for this kind of a trade, but we're very, very comfortable with it as, again, we're sitting in, what we have left on Nvidia right now almost covers our Boeing trade there. So about half we'll make back if we just punch out of Nvidia right now. So let's wait to see if that continues to work. We were able to sort of sniff out an Apple move back up again and again. We talk about being disciplined. That's again talked on the podcast about owning your own business and making sure that you stay the course and being disciplined with your trades. And I think we can even talk about being disciplined in what we do here on a prop floor, right? Obi, like staying late, days, making sure that no matter what other people are doing. I mean, there's been days here where I've heard people yell and say, Obi, get out here and have this beer or whatever, and you're like 5 more minutes, I'm waiting for the tick data to download or something. Honestly, I mean, there's nothing to be embarrassed about that.
I think the tape has to get into the hard drive.
Right, exactly. You're like, oh wait, I have like 2 more minutes of download time here, right? And so I feel like it's always easy to say, okay, I'll do this tomorrow, or the data from today is, I don't need it, whatever, it's just 1 more day. But the minute you get off of that path, then you really start to divert into, negative habits that you may not be, wanting to follow. And then, it just leads you down a path of, not destruction, but maybe not one that you wanted to be on in the first place. So, one name that I wrote down on the sticky note that I completely ignored today. Man, this name, man, we were cruising on this name until everyone started piling in on Alibaba. I feel like no one was really talking about it down here. Then all of a sudden it really started to go. We got to $90 there. We were long down here at $71, $72, and it looks quite frankly embarrassing. It's for the long term. It was not a in and out kind of a play, but we should have got something out there at 90. I mean, you want to talk about some of these levels from 70 to 90, what a move in a month, went up 30%. And now is right back down that like 20% back in again for Alibaba. I like the long here. I feel like though with elections, June, November, 4 or 5 months away, China could be something, could not be something. I was wondering about if Taiwan, and this is just again talking about it, if there was ever a time for China to do something there, it might be best during an election period. And I don't know what that would mean for Chinese equities. If all of a sudden they took a little bit more of an aggressive stance there. I don't know if that's going to happen. China has a lot to lose by doing that. We already talked about TSM, Taiwan Semi, and how well that stock's been in the wealth generation that's been involved with that. So I'm not sure that that's necessarily something that's going to be happening, but at the end of the day, I still think Alibaba's an opportunity here. So we'll look to pick up some more in and around $72, maybe with a 70 stop this time so we don't get carried away in it. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Maybe, okay, Boeing's not doing anything. Do you have any new trade ideas? Because I'm just going to start scanning.
I'm just looking, I saw this volume bar come in on Qualcomm, and I was like, oh boy, what is that? Like who kind of took that kind of volume? And I pull up my my level 2 here. Oh boy, do these dark pools really push some volume? Look at that, 1.870 million shares traded at 227.60s on a dark pool, sure, yeah, but that price definitely becoming a little bit interesting to me now as maybe it's a late order, maybe it's something, but the fact of the matter is you cannot hide from the tape, and someone punched into or bought and sold, again, the transaction goes both ways, 1.8 million shares, just a little bit of change at that 227.60 mark here on Qualcomm. Quite interesting. As again, Nvidia pushes right back up towards this 136 there. So a reclaiming of the trend. So very, very strong. So in terms of trade ideas, Sean, I don't really have too much. I am watching, I guess the DJT has been selling off quite aggressively for most of the day. I kind of mentioned earlier that that 32 level used to be a little bit of a double bottom if you looked at the yearly chart within 2024. We broke below that 32 and we traded 2 points lower, and now we're holding that 30 mark there. So again, with only about, what time is it? It's 3 o'clock, so going into power hour in just about 3 minutes. I don't know if the reversion is going to come in here on DJT, but that's kind of what I'm looking at. Something else, again, is the Nvidia. Nvidia, again, I did not get with the trend. I tried to do a little bit of reversion. Doesn't really come in. I'm not going to make the same mistake as I did yesterday, as we try to get a little bit better every day in attempts of not making the same mistakes and not really, or I guess learning from our mistakes from the day before. So I do not want to fight this trend. Very, very strong going into the end. And maybe that last half hour might bring us a little bit of something. But again, the trade of the day, Sean, and you definitely had it, was the Nvidia long. Again, that 32 half break, that was quite clean. That was a nice snipe there. on Nvidia, but yeah, other than that, I don't really see anything. I did get back into Qualcomm when it did dip back down into 226. I tried to get some at 225s, and it jumped up. So I was like, all right, I'm going to be a little bit patient here, but I do like this 227 level. And look at that, it is right back up to VWAP there off of this lick grab of day lows. So this is what we were looking at earlier, right? So I was like, okay, all the longs are offside below this 226, comes right in. I know for a fact that there are certain players who punch the low a day looking for a flush, and maybe some algos as well who do some punching at the low a day. But oh boy, are those guys offside as it rebids quite instantly, and then prior bar high break happening right back for a reversion back into VWAP there. Let's see what we do with this VWAP. This consolidation it was also quite significant, consolidating sideways for, what is that? Let's take a quick measurement for 4 hours, Sean. I was in this trade for quite some time.
Yep.
I was like, okay, this is potentially a level to level if it comes in, but I was definitely wrong on that. We did kind of break back down. I stopped out, but here comes VWAP at 228.63 as of right now, trading at 228.44s right now on Qualcomm. So maybe I'm looking for a potential add if we do kind of rip back through those highs, 230 mark. The spread on this one is quite aggressive at times, but as of right now, the bid has been stepping into the ask, the spread only being about 10 to 15 pennies, so which is, I think, a decent look there on Qualcomm. Don't really have too much else. I guess ARM, we were talking about ARM, that 175 doesn't really come in. I was looking at the tape there, not really too much size on the ARM there, so maybe he has to go to the gym a little bit more to get some more size at that 175, but pulling back in off of that 175 as of right now on ARM. So maybe poised for a potential reversion here. You can see that strong candles happened, and we did get some exhaustive moves there, just slightly, no real crazy bars to really get me involved on the ARM. But yeah, some heavy lifting it's been doing all day to the long side. That's all I got.
Yeah. You got a lot there. You took that really well. So, okay, thanks, Obi. All right, so there's a few names I wanted to talk about. I mean, we just got more Apple, like literally right now, as we were like, okay, here we go. The market is trying to break higher, right? But we're still not, we're still at 20,200. We rejected that level right there and fell back in. I kind of expect the same right now. So let's add to some of that Apple trade right here. We are short Apple at 97, 25 cents worth of risk. So we will try out for that and see if that will come through. Shoot, there was another idea. I wanted to go, oh, how good is Pan W maybe looking right now? Ooh. Palo Alto. So I've never traded this like as a day trade the way I would scalp this right now. I mean, I see a lot of breaks here in the bars, so I'm not super excited about it, but I was just looking. We have VWAP and we have the 200 period here, and we had 318. I was almost thinking about going long right now at this level, 318, and then trying to use like maybe 317, 317.50, something like that as an out. We've seen CrowdStrike really start to go back up to the upside. Pan W looks fine on the daily chart. Even looks like it wants to break back above. For this to be a breakout trade, though, we'd like to break through 325 before that happens. But looking pretty good here. Underneath, so I mean, you could look at this and think of it as a short, but I just feel like we're coming back into this 318 level again for Pan W. Could be a possible long off of VWAP. It just came off the VWAP scanner, but it wasn't even this trade. A firm was trying to dance around again here. Let's just look at this Apple and just double check to make sure we do have the right stop. So our stop in right here is this 25 level, which is right here. I'm not going to give it up. Well, I mean, we could, because it's a reloaded name, we could probably wind up, we're still playing with house money on this last trade, but coming up to there 214.50 maybe. But the thing is, like, you could have still a huge move back up for the NASDAQ. We talked about it being pretty resilient. There has to be news with Apple here almost immediately. I'm going to stop this script because why did Apple just do that? Apple just ripped, like, look at the market downside, Apple going the other way. All right, let me take some more shares there. That was too bad. That was an unusual move. I'm still waiting to get 21s here. Wow, I can't even get filled there at 21. All right, so we'll see if we can get some 21s. And then, Okay, this is why it's important to look at your stock, because if we had sort of put the order out instead of talking about it right there, we could have been short again there at 25. It's a good thing we did. Thanks, Elon. He agrees with that PanW look. That trade right there, what was up with that? Like, we were just down here, and I thought we were doing pretty good. 213.80. This is a minute chart. So in 5 minutes, we just basically went 40 cents. Oh no, that's too bad, man. We were ready to reload that there, Obi. Okay, so that's okay. We'll see if we get some of that. Then let's just use that maybe as our out now. Like 30s, breaking through 30, 31. All right, so let's do that. Let's just change it. We'll do that right in front of us, in front of everybody. 214.32. We'll put that as a stop order. Let's get out of all of it so I don't have to question myself to hold it or not. That would have been a good reload spot there. I don't know what just happened with Apple, but that's why it's important to sit there and watch your stock sometime when you're in position, right? Because that move up there would have, instead of been a stop out, should have been a reload because it kind of came out of nowhere. So we'll wait. We still got some news in our ear here to see if there's anything hitting on any of these names. I'm not seeing anything. JP Morgan, with the S&P 500, the banks have sort of been a little bit of a lagger as everything's back to highs. JP Morgan's still about $10 off of its high. And again, just this look coming into view up right here. It's up on the day, but to me, the chart almost looks low. I would almost like to fade that push back into the 50 period and then play this back down into the downside. So like 196.65 is a great price, up to 197, maybe holding against that 197 break. If you really like to trade 197.25, you're under the 50 period moving average. You're starting to swoop down a little bit here on this with VWAP and everything battling. I actually might be talking myself into this trade right now as well. I like doing all this kind of stuff, but I don't want to get too carried away. Yeah. Where you're trying to look for trades. I'm already in 3 trades. Apple short, Meta short, Nvidia long. So we've already got the NASDAQ sort of cornered here. We could get into this. I don't mind this trade, even right now for a little bit of love, but then you got to give it like 50 cents. So even if you put on even 100 shares, like, is it worth throwing away $50 if you're not really in love with the trade? So these are some things that we have to deal with. Apple, there's the Apple move. So I'm not hearing anything. The market now wants to go back up. So let's stop out on the break now of 30. So if we break back up through 30, we'll take that 25-cent hit. It's on a fair amount of shares. We are not happy to do it, but if it continues to go up, we will get a hit on Apple, and I'm fine with that. A negative stock up to resistance. We tried it. We got a good trade there, but right now it's trying to go back up. Maybe the market is in tune for a turn here, Obi. Maybe we should be looking for some longs to get that market back up like 0.5% by end of day. But here comes Apple. We're short at 214.05.
Yeah, that action was quite aggressive, and I think something happened on Nvidia as well. You can see this bar, look, a little distinctly different bar happening here. Quite a strong sell. So we bid right back up into 136.20s and then slam right into 135.40s as of right now. So yeah, the selling became aggressive in and around here. We attempt to break highs, we trickle back down, and then you bid back up above this 136, and then you get slammed right back down. So maybe a potential selling or a seller or a group of whatever, some selling definitely being presented here just above that 136 as of right now. And then the market, again, we talk about that 20,200 level, and it's been kind of chopping and churning in and around that area as of right now. Now, something people are talking about, Maximilian in the chat, and I think a few other people were talking about Dell tanking as well. So I did have a Dell trade a little earlier today off of this. I think just before we kind of closed off the morning show. So let me pull up that Dell. Let me pull up Dell, and we can kind of talk about that. And yeah, it came right back, Sean. So it went right back up to day highs, broke day highs, and then came right back into where I was like, all right, well, this is a good place to cover if we were going to hold VWAP, and my chart just crashed, so I got to open another one. Just give me 2 seconds here. But yeah, so Qualcomm is holding VWAP as of right now, so we are kind of doing some chop and churn in and around that VWAP, but let me go back to Dell here as the chart is back up. So you can see I was a little late to this trade, I got to get in at the break of structure when that trend kind of breaks in. The trend is no longer the longs friend in and around just above this 152. I was a little late to the party there, but I was like, all right, 150 coming in. 150 initial break doesn't really go, but I'm like, all right, well, 150, I can potentially expect a little bit of a bounce. If there is going to be a bounce, it'll probably be at 150 in my head. So I was like, all right, well, let's look for the bid to fail to follow through. Bids up to 151, can't really get too far, and then comes right back in. So both these, the push into 151 that fails to follow through, everyone's hitting the ask, and then the ask stops getting hit, and the bid kind of falls through. So I'm like, all right, well, let me get more in, and then the back through 150 as well. But look at that clean hold of VWAP. That VWAP does not want to break down. So I'm like, all right, I got to get out of this right here. It is doing R-vol on the day, so I do have to respect the bigger picture trend. And then that trend, definitely good reason to buy as it bids right back up into 154. Sideways consolidation and then a re-break of this consolidation in and around that 153, 152 mark is where that selling becomes aggressive once again. So definitely sellers showing some of their hand there at some of these highs. But yeah, that trade was definitely worth a reload as it comes right back in and then reverts back down in and through VWAP this time, a little heavier to the downside, pulling back into that 149 level once again on Dell. So great opportunities on Dell nonetheless. Long side was there off of the open. Short side, yeah, not as much of an extension, but I think in terms of probability, I do like the backside just a little bit more on a ticker that's behaving kind of like this. So let's be a little bit patient here to see. I don't have any trades on Dell, but it is a good look nonetheless. Pointed out once again by Maximilian in the chat. Something else I do want to mention is Softy. Softy has been quite heavy on the day today. So we did have quite a strong day yesterday, pushing past this 450 mark. 450 was quite interesting. I was looking for a full-on blast through that level, but we came from 440s. So I'm like a 10-point move on Microsoft is not that aggressive because, again, you look up the ATR, it's about 7 points. So yeah, it did do about 1 ATR. So I'm like, okay, it's done about an ATR into that 450, not too aggressive, double tops, and then comes back in today for a little bit of sideways action. 45s, just shy of 45s being the low at 44.89 here on Softy, and pushing for more as we go into the closing session here with only about 50 minutes left for the closing bell to kind of ring. So let's see what we got in store with Softy. Alphabet, maybe, Sean, maybe that's the one there, as it looks like after selling all day, maybe it's attempting to catch a bit of a bid there. Again, we talk about that strong volume candle that did make that was made relatively in and around the day low as of right now, and we have only bid up since then. So let's see if we can kind of get back into VWAP. Looking left, what do I see here? It is bouncing off of, I guess Friday's low there, and which also, does it happen to be, no, it's not weekly low. Weekly low Monday was a little bit lower, but yeah, end of week low there is catching a bit of a bid. Google off of that level. So let's see what we do. 20,200, still an interesting level as we keep on chopping and churning in and around that on the NQ. Take a look at the ES, strong quadunk to the downside here on the ES. Nvidia still holding some of its highs. What else did I have on watch today? Let's see, I had quite a long list. I had SPY, I was like, SPY all-time highs. So this was my in-play list of this morning. I'll just read through it. Softy, all-time highs. AVGO with a strong trend. Pepsi with a strong bid. Oh boy, okay, so let's see what Pepsi did. I know I like to take a look at some of these tickers here. Pepsi, very strong bid as of yesterday, and today a little bit of sideways consolidation. So yeah, doing not too much. Qualcomm, we were definitely trading a bit of Qualcomm today. Again, Qualcomm because all-time highs. TQs, Qs were at all-time highs. TQs not so much, but sideways action there after a very strong day on TQs. Now another name, GE. We saw that this name was quite aggressive yesterday, even had a little bit of a wick candle going up to 167.40s after a very strong trend. So definitely some action there, strong volume coming in off of that as well. And we've only gone a little bit sideways, bidding back up towards day high 160, was it 165.11s as of right now, only about 40 pennies away from that 164.77 trading. And Micron, we already talked about. Micron, nice little strong push off of the open, and then strong reversion as well, recovering more than 50% of that morning action on Micron Technologies. Again, a lot of these chip names and tech names on a strong bid for most of the day. MRIM, is that the one? I guess not. MIRM maybe. Yeah. So okay. So this one, a little bit of a small cap, not really a small cap, but definitely smaller cap. 1.4 billion on the day. So it was quite strong yesterday, doing some significant relative volume, and then pulls back in 33 halves down to 29 halves as of right now. So a little bit of a pullback on the day happening on MRIM. Bit of an interesting ticker as of yesterday. They had, what did they have? They had positive trial data that they were bidding up off of yesterday there, Sean.
All right. I'm going to, first of all, Apple just kept on going there. So we're able to get, oh, by the way, Apple came back in a little bit, so we were able to get a little bit out there. But then I was almost, yeah, it's nice, but it's not that nice. I mean, we tried to go short. It didn't really go down too much there. Yeah, there's this fly flying around here.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so I was thinking about going long now on this name, but again, I don't want to just keep on going back and forth. I want to make sure that we're going to be right about something. I just heard something in my ear about Meta and TikTok and all that stuff. So, you know, Meta's starting to spark up a little bit. Let's just get out of this so that we could just regroup. So now we're flat on Meta right now. We'll have to see if there is a trade that we like in this name. Apple back to 215 could be a short, but I don't think the market's a short right now. I'm not even sure what the market wants to do. It's still doing this, so I feel like we just got to go over to names that are actually moving around right now. Get this. Oh, hold on a second. I wanted to show everybody something right now. Oh, did I not pop it out? Okay, hold on a second. This.
Nice.
This is like.
That's your backyard?
Yeah. So now she's 9. Yeah, so now she kind of looks all grown and stuff, and this is her there. So I don't know, I like, you know, when you pick up your phone and then it just shows you like random pictures, like here's another one of her. So I was just like, oh wow, that was like one of the youngest ones I've ever shown. So anyways, I get distracted pretty easily. All right, so that's that right there. All right, so what about Palantir? Look, Palantir just went to 26 flat. I mean, that would have been a good trade. We actually said that that's why we weren't going to go long this name, because we were running into 26. Looks like it stops completely there and turns around. So, you know, if you would have thought about that maybe a little bit closer there, Sean, then maybe you would have been short. But for right there, there's Palantir, nice little retracement back. Normally we'd look for 50-period retracements, but it's already back down. So now I think you got to basically wait for view up, which is the problem with Apple, because if I would go long on Apple right now, it's like my stop would probably be down here. So that's 50 more cents. And then the upside 50 cents kind of runs right into VWAP. So I don't know, 1-to-1 trade, with momentum here. We saw this yesterday in the futures. Remember, we thought, okay, let's break long. And then all of a sudden, we turned it around and went back down into the downside. Not enough momentum right now to do anything. And then I'm just staring at this Nvidia trade that's doing nothing as well. So I'm not in love with that. I was going to short Reddit. We actually were talking about JP Morgan. Maybe we should go back to that one. But Reddit here, again, being underneath 60 is something, I feel like. Good tops there at 60.20, underneath the 50-period moving average. I think Reddit has a chance to go down right now, especially if this market goes. But again, just this means I get stopped out. Like when you have clean, like this is 10 cents. The spread right now on this name is too much for me to go short, because if you get up here and look to break, I'm going to get punched out like at $60 and like 40 or 50 cents. If I play against that high, because it's going to open up. So for me, that's going to be a pass, but I like Reddit underneath there. I think Reddit under 60 is good. The 50-period moving average right there on the 200-period moving, 50-period on a 20-minute chart. Looks like we're underneath 60 here. That's a good one. 60 goes all the way back just a couple of days. We poked our head above it and then got crushed right back down today. I think Reddit can probably hold a low. So Reddit underneath 60 is definitely an idea. We had some questions about Microsoft as well. This is probably, honestly, when you get this move down in consolidation, then I feel like this break is worth it. So I feel like trying this right now on Microsoft. Possibly I don't like doing stuff when we're above on the futures, but this doesn't really qualify. NASDAQ's not doing much, and we do have some consolidation right here. So if we can get something around 446, which is kind of right now, I actually don't mind a short in here for Microsoft, especially if this market continues to bleed the rest of the day. This is not a bad opportunity right now to go short Microsoft. Why don't we just put on a little trade here, short Microsoft in and around 446. That's kind of where it is right now, and we'll see if we can do something. Adair, what do you got?
I have some details on that story with regards to Meta and TikTok here. Meta not really reacting, but so what happened here is the FTC apparently referring its complaint against TikTok to the Justice Department. It's actually released a statement to that effect itself on the FTC website. So this is not a report. This has actually happened. This report, this initially was reported back in late March 2024. CNN reporting that FTC was investigating TikTok over some data and security practices. So META not really reacting to this, but keep an eye on the social media names with regards to the fact that the FTC has referred its complaint against TikTok to the DOJ, guys.
I mean, how do we play that TikTok trade, right? I'll get to the super chat. I want to thank you, Justin. I will get to that in just a minute. We just put on some Microsoft right there. You know, underneath the 50-period moving average, I like it. I feel like because it's Microsoft, we got to give this a little bit of love. So 446.40 is going to be my out on Microsoft. Give this a little bit of room to see if we can push lower here into the close. If the market does turn red, this has the pedigree to go red. I mean, it's down today. Market's flat. You know, again, some tech names getting hit harder than others. We'll see if Microsoft wants to get back into the downside as they reweight Nvidia higher, everything else lower. So we'll see, man. I mean, if we can get a 445 right down here, let's put a bid at 445.20 or something on Microsoft. If we get it, great. 445.21 or so on Microsoft. We'll put a bid right there, see if we get that. Hopefully it will fly in. And then we'll short a little bit more, like I said, if we can get to 446, and then use that area for 50 to get out. So let me just put some shares up there, and then we'll talk about that super chat coming through right there. Nvidia still $1.70 in the money. Microsoft trying to work. We do have that stop there. And before, whoopsies. And before I forget, let's put that stop in right now. 440, I don't even want to dance with it too much. 446.40. Let's go to 440. Hello, type. 440. You notice that more late in the day, your keystrokes get a little less accurate, I find.
Yeah.
I don't know, because I've been entering so many different trades all day. 446.51, we'll get flattened out on that 100%. We'll try to make some moves here at the end of the day and see if we can, you know, take a trade here in Microsoft. So averaging back upside, if we get something near 446, that'll be my next fill there. So, all right, thank you so much, Justin. Right there, let's put this over. I haven't even read it yet, so read it and forget it, as they say. Maybe I can, how do I zoom? I don't know how to zoom this in. Okay, Ramin will do this. I'll just keep it right there for you. All right, so Justin Swearingen. Any thoughts holding in the money? All right, so we kind of dealt with this yesterday. I feel like if you have calls on Nvidia, you're probably in the money at some point here. And AVGO calls overnight. Oh, you've already taken 100% profits.
Let's go.
Biggest trading day of your career. Wow. I mean, thanks for the confidence. I believe in my trades. Well, then get yourself some chicken wings or Wingstop, and even send some to Ramin. She loves Wingstop as well. But there we go. Thank you so much. What would be the flavor, Ramin? Because it looks better, 99.9. It's like, you know, when things are on sale, 99.99. Right there. Ramin, what do you like on your wings? All right, and first of all, okay, we'll get to that in a minute. Thank you. Mango habanero, okay. Good to know. All right, so just quickly, we just got some more Microsoft shares, so we have a position now, 445.82. So look, thank you so much again, Justin, and congratulations on the big day.
Yeah, congrats.
I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
100% overnight. Well, I don't know if it was overnight, but yeah, options definitely giving you a decent, I guess, volatility to capture some of those moves, 100,
sure.
200, 300% moves on the day, overnight even. We know that what AVGO and Nvidia have been doing over the past few days, and yeah, definitely got to have confidence on those swing trades for sure, man. So congrats on that one. big trade for sure. We saw what AVGO did, right? AVGO kind of, I was looking at it at that 1700 mark off of earnings just a few days ago. What is it, 3-4 days ago, sometime last week there? Yeah, right there, last Thursday. So, and then we break past that, close strong on the day, and take a look at that continuation, and then moves up into the 1800s, 18,883. Coming in as the pre-market high, so of course you would have been able to kind of get in on the options after the open there. So yeah, you couldn't have definitely captured some of the premium up here, but yeah, nonetheless, this was quite nice as well. So congrats on that one, and of course Nvidia, we've all been watching there all day, every day, and it's only been in an uptrend there. 136.33 is the high a day there. So very, very strong tickers nonetheless. So those calls are definitely paying there, Sean.
Yeah, no, so trying to get our opinion on this. So why don't I give you mine? All right, so just real quick. NVIDIA's going to close at or near the high of the day. If that is the case, then, Justin, I mean, I wouldn't see any reason why this cannot continue even into tomorrow, right? There's really no reason why this sort of a trend should be broken. We always use the 50-period moving average. That's 133. Again, if you're still in the money, I don't know how many contracts you'd have, but this has been a nice little pushback into the highs there. You're up that 4%. We always talk about how far away this name has been and how it just continues to climb higher and higher and higher. I'm really surprised at this move. I had it written down as my #1 trade idea today, so obviously I believe in the long. I don't think that there's anything wrong with holding on to this. And even if you do get flushed, I mean, first of all, tomorrow is a holiday. Yeah. So you don't have to worry about that, but that's going to time decay 1 extra day. So now you have to worry about that. If you're expiring on Friday, you have to worry that you really only have 1 more day, because you're going to figure out what happens on Thursday, and then Friday off the open, you could get a very violent move one way or the other, which could set the tone for that option, because if it's a big flush, then fine. But we did bring that news today on our watch list. Go take a look at that the XLK ETF has come out and said that they're reweighting Nvidia higher. So they're going to have to take away some Microsoft, which is why Microsoft could be possibly down that 0.6 today. They're taking away some Apple, and they're just rotating. So they're selling some Apple and putting in some XLK. Now, when you get ETFs that are mimicking these bigger ETFs, then yeah, you're gonna get, look at this. Remember I said, why don't we just reverse Apple? Come on, Sean. You had about it. Next time, just do it. But so I would say that I would hold on to Nvidia. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of forward push into those rebalances, okay? It's been a huge opportunity to get long, and just with the cheap price, feel like that's gonna be a great options play. Now, Broadcom, different story. It's down 1.8% or 1.18% here. Again, I feel like there's the tailwinds of the split. It's had an absolutely beast of a move, man. Justin, this name, just in 4 trading days, has gone from 1,400 to 1,900. I would say if anybody's gonna take money out of a name, it might be Broadcom. So for me, I would rather, if it was a would you rather thing, and you're asking what should you do to both of those, this could be completely wrong, but I would take money out of Broadcom instead of Nvidia. So that would be my look on that one, but we'll wait to see what does happen. There's just a lot of talk around Nvidia. And as long as Nvidia keeps on chugging, especially where we are right now, I feel more confident in this name than I would in Broadcom. A name that I'm not feeling super confident in right now is Microsoft. That fell back in, and we could have got out there. 80s was the 50-period moving average. We are short here at 89, but we're not taking 10 cents on this. But it does look like we will potentially get stopped out of this trade. And this trade, it looks like we'll give back maybe that 10% again. So we've given back some money here into the close, as we don't really believe in the long, and for good reason. I feel like the market's not doing anything. It's just some of these tech names, Obi. We talk about the resilience of these names. It's almost like go long or do nothing else.
The market
Honestly,
is sound and resilient, Sean.
We were very lucky. I don't know about luck. We talked about this already with you and I, and then you busted out some Socrates. We were able to get out of Meta, and Meta was a good short because it broke through that 500, right? And we were able to get this big trade, but this is the only short that's worked for me today. So right now, we'll have to wait to see if Microsoft wants to be one of those other ones that's trying to work itself out right now. We're just short at 90. Look, it just printed 20s. You could take a 30-cent hit on this and not even worry about it. But for me, I'll wait for that top and see if we can get a little bit more confidence again. Thank you so much to Justin for that super chat, $100. One of the biggest ones we've seen in a bit.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats again on that trade. Options is definitely a great market to. When are we getting options, Sean? I think there's definitely a lot of opportunities in the options market there. But let's see what Adara has to say.
Just be aware here, we have this small cap name making some big moves later in the day here. It's going to be Desktop Metal, DM. This one up over 50%. It's actually halted. Only catalyst for this actually came out pre-market. It's now qualified. This platinum is now qualified, customer qualified on the Desktop Metal production system binder Jet 3 printing platform. So basically one of Desktop Metal's platforms now qualified for platinum. So interesting look here for DM. This one is worth noting because lots of social media attention over the last few minutes here, 17.5% short float, and we have a float of about 24.5 million shares. So watch out for this small cap name making some moves in the end of the day here, DM.
Yeah, I remember this ticker from when I think it was 3D. 3D printers were going up, but definitely not down in the DMs today on DM here. It is definitely going upside past that $5 mark. We talk about how $5 is an interesting level when it comes to stocks. And yeah, let's take a quick look left. This is definitely interesting to me here, as it is a repeat offender. They just had a split. So post split runners. Sean, are they back? I don't know. Okay, so let's take a quick look at a higher time frame. As you can see, again, whenever this name kind of does a little bit of a pop, it kind of drops, and it's been doing more of the same, but definitely something to watch when it does start to run, as it does tend to have multi-day runs overall, and this is some strong action breaking all of these prior bars, breaking all of this trend. Let's take a quick look at the weekly there. Yeah, breaking weekly trend as well on this strength, back above that $5 mark. So maybe something to keep an eye on now. Again, doesn't necessarily do too much volume on the daily, as you can see, about 400K is the average 30-day volume, and it's done about 600K. So nothing too crazy as of right now, but maybe something that might be waking up on DM. So thank you for that one, Dara. And yeah, I'm still kind of watching this Qualcomm, but before that, we're going to pass it back to Dara.
All right, we'll go back to Darren in a second. I just want to say that we are just going to talk about quickly getting stopped out. We're not stopped out yet, but we're going to use this 200 period moving average for Nvidia. So if this breaks back down below, we are going to get out of it. The market is pushing lower here right now. But again, like I've just picked the wrong name again. Like Microsoft, look where the market's doing. The market's back down here into the 50 period and breaking lower. If Microsoft did that, then we'd be singing a completely different, we'd be singing a completely different tune right now. So again, feel like we're in the wrong name. We've done well there to try to get this, but the NASDAQ is getting led by something else right now, and it's definitely not Microsoft, it's definitely not Apple. They're both holding highs right now. Not highs, but they're holding up here on both of these names. We could get a nice flush coming in on Microsoft, but it looks like right now it's fighting the move and actually wants to go higher. So I feel very comfortable with the stop being here at 446.50. Let's go back over to Adara as audio problems are fixed.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Definitely some names making some larger moves. Going to avoid some of these semiconductors we've talked about before and talk about a few different names making some moves here, including some energy names like Constellation Energy. This one to the upside, more than 3%, getting a price target increase from UBS with this buy rating here, raising the price target to 249. It's a good look for CEG. On the other side here, we have Next Era Energy trying to recover a little bit, but still down about 2% plus here. Announcing they're going to be selling $2 billion of equity units to Wells Fargo Securities and BofA Securities. Closing, they're expecting for Thursday. So interesting look here for NEE to the downside. Last but not least, this is a semiconductor name here. It's going to be SMCI. This one up over 3%. Supermicro trading higher after adding 3 new manufacturing facilities across the globe. So interesting look here for SMCI, about 3%. Quite a few names making some larger moves here, guys.
SMCI tends to be a pretty clean mover over the past, past few weeks as well. Like sometimes I watch it and I'm just like, yeah, it is a little bit relatively higher priced, but when it comes to trend, you'll see that we'll be looking for a trend on like Nvidia or like Intel or something. Well, maybe not Intel, but Nvidia, and it seems like SMCI is catching most of the bid. But
the spread was a little bit on that.
The spread is a little. The thing about I'm trying to get better with working with spready tickers. I think the trades are still there, and the spread definitely deters a lot of traders, but that can be a double-edged sword, to be honest. I think.
No, I agree with you for sure. Because when you're right, you'll get hit on the bottom of that. Like if you're short, the spread will open up and fill you on, like, it depends if you're right.
And using like different orders as well. You can hit the middle of the spread and
right,
like,
midpoint orders. Yeah, good call.
There's a chance to get filled there as well.
Good call on that one. All right, so as sort of, we just put some bids down near 446 to see if we can get out. There we go. Well, and then Microsoft takes us out anyway. So there's the break higher on that one. Again, we'll have to slap a fail on it. We tried the short on Microsoft, just didn't work. Look at this market. I'm fine doing all of this. We're not giving our day up here or anything like that, but that was a bad, I don't know, I guess it was a bad trade. We just went short into here. I could have got out basically at 30s, which was that top. We sort of talked about that, but we wanted to give it to 50. The 200 periods right there, we could hold a little bit more, but at some point, you just kind of want to stop that bleeding. Someone said it was Tesla that was moving down. Yeah, into VWAP again. I just like, this is the frustrating part as a day trader, right? We're not swing traders. We can't like hold this overnight. So it's like when the market does this kind of stuff right here, it's very silly. I should almost take the hands-off approach and just wait for something to hit like a key level and then do something about it, right? Like Microsoft, like this trade on Microsoft, although I like it and I made it and we sort of talked about it, it's not really up here and it's not down here. Like this is a much better bid and this is a much better short because we have this. We're kind of playing again in the middle and it is priming you to get stopped out. So right there, got stopped out, and that's what happened. So Amazon just triggered in on something. Okay, see, this is much better. All right, here's Amazon. So here's an example, again, and you just want to feel the flow, right? Big tech is up. Like we just got stopped out on Apple trying to go higher, and we just got stopped out on Microsoft trying to go higher. So look what's happening to Amazon now. Amazon down 0.6, same as Microsoft, and trying to take out some of these highs. So then you have to ask yourself, and we talked about the reversion, man, and everything like that, is this something where you think this can actually revert back down in? Market not doing anything, so then what's your reason to go short? Well, I don't know. I mean, it's up to 183. It's back into some levels of resistance here. Maybe that's your reason to go short on Amazon. I just don't want to get burned again on another one of those plays where we look to go short. I feel like the long is right now in on some big tech. Google got hit there today. So maybe this is something, but again, this looks different, right? This is actually still underneath and looking lower. So there's the 200. This might be a retracement back to the 50. We can try that. Is the market breaking out, or do we wait to buy the TQs on a breakthrough? What time is it, 3:35?
Yeah.
You gonna put on anything else right now?
I mean,
Apple's back to 215.
I'm looking, yeah. I guess Apple's pushing back up. So Apple is the one that's doing a bit of a reversion here. I did get a little bit more of the Qualcomm when we saw how interesting that 228 was, and the market is attempting to bid right back up through that 20,200. Nvidia is still holding sideways. We have made some lower highs past this mark here, so that's definitely an interesting look. But again, it is holding sideways consolidation. So maybe I don't think it's too ready yet just for the short. But scalps, yeah, definitely the scalps are there. Just kind of waiting patiently for some of the action to come in.
And then that happened?
It will come in on the day. I have no idea.
Dude.
But yeah, Nvidia, a little bit of a pullback, but 20,200, we're still chopping and churning in and around there. So here we go. We're we're chopping this 228 as well. So that 228 reserve from the morning session. So right off the open, you guys saw what 228 did, right? We churned a lot of volume, kind of attempting to push into that 228. And look at that. Every time we pull back up, that 228 holds, that 228 holds. And as of right now, we did finally break through that. And when it does break through it, we go all the way down to 226s, clipping the day low, lick grabbing the day low, maybe trapping some players as well. Shorts definitely won on that consolidation trade there. Longs, again, I was one of the longs there, and I did hold all the way back down. But again, kind of a change of wind here as maybe potentially as that 28 comes right back in. VWAP holds, and now we're churning around that 228 once again with only about 30 minutes left, 25 minutes left going into the close, 23 minutes left to be precise. But yeah, so let's see if we can just catch some players offside going into the end of the day. That's all I guess my perspective is right now. But Nvidia, nothing too crazy. I did want to take a reversion, but again, that reversion came in the last 30 minutes yesterday. Let's see if some of that selling comes back in today. I have no idea. Again, market can't be expecting the same thing from the market every day. The market does not repeat, but sometimes it can rhyme, as somebody did mention in the past before. I'm forgetting the name, but nothing too crazy. ARM back at that 175. So let's see, only about a point away from that 175. So definitely an interesting level there. Quite strong and aggressive on the day is ARM. So if it's trading up into the close like this, the question I'm asking is that, are we going to push that 175 going into the close? There wasn't much size on it when I last looked, only about a couple hundred lots sitting at that 175, and I know that ARM, for the visible size, it's taken out much more than a couple hundred lots there. So it's more than capable of kind of breaking past that level if we do come in. Let's see if that comes in as well. I'm not watching anything else too closely, but a lot of people in the chat talking about Tesla. So Tesla is tanking, Tesla tank, Tesla falling. Okay, so let's take a quick look at Tesla. It's kind of sideways here. I don't really see too much of a Tesla tank there. It's kind of pulled back into prior days move there, 183s, 185s. So sideways consolidation after we did make the low a day here at that 182.36 on Tesla. So don't really see too much of a tank, but maybe a little bit of a Model S as of yesterday, as it kind of zoomed up to the upside all the way from 177s to 189s. That was quite an aggressive move there, very, very fast.
So we'll close out, good job there, Obi, with some of that Tesla talk. We'll close out our NVIDIA trade as it does go back down into the bottom. So good trade there today. By far my #1 P&L name. It might even be on the month off of these trades. 4 times, boom, 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 all in. Finally breaks the 200 period. We were waiting for that. So that did come through one more time there. Look, we get a little bit of revenge now on Apples. We're long now at 214.85, sorry, not 95. It's only my best outs during all of this was like O's or 03. Back up there, which was only getting 15 and 20 cents maximum on this trade. So right now it's only 10 cents. We've been taking some out. I don't have any offers now until way back up through 215. So let's see if it wants to continue to hold out. Apple right now just dancing around 215. We're long right now 214.85 and taking some pieces out. You know what? Just because of what this move is doing, let's just put another one at 05 and see if we can get it. So breakthrough, breakthrough, breakthrough. Breakthrough. Hopefully it breaks through. And again, just by looking at this, you can see that there is, again, more dark pool prints there, right? So you're going to get through thousands of shares before it actually breaks the level. Like, you're telling me NASDAQ just held that bid or offer with 100 shares. So as you can see, you'll see a lot of Ds going through here and a lot of reserved orders, meaning that it's an iceberg. So you can only show 100 shares there displayed, but then have like 900 behind you. So instead of showing 1,000 shares, you would have to legally, with Reg NMS, with Reg NMS, be able to show, we're now 25 cents in the money, Reg NMS to show you the ruling of one share, one board lot, and then you can put as many behind that as you want. So sometimes that's one of those things that you'll be able to see sometimes happen here for that. So, all right, that is that. Apple, we'll wait. Our stop is basically where we're in. Let's see if Apple wants to float back higher here as the market goes. Normally when we get stopped out of NVIDIA, I don't think it's a horrible idea to reverse that trade and then try to go back into the short. I'm not going to short NVIDIA, but it is trying to lose a little bit of steam here in the afternoon. As you can see, we're starting to make lower highs. So maybe the trend right now has changed a little bit on NVIDIA, but still closing near the high of the day. What a great trade there. And again, thank you for that super chat right up here, $100 by Justin. So he wanted to know about AVGO versus NVIDIA and having his best day. The one thing mentally about having your best days, and you know, we both will have good days today, is that it always sucks when you're having a good day and then you happen to give the majority of it back, and not even some of it, but so I was gonna say, like, to keep those good feelings there, Justin, maybe, you know, don't hold something. And by the way, tomorrow, happy Juneteenth. We didn't even talk about, here in Canada, the markets are open, but down there in the United States, you know, party time.
TSX tomorrow?
Am I trading some TSX tomorrow?
Yeah.
I can't get a day off, Obi?
I'm just
like,
asking.
really, Obi?
Hey.
Are you trading some TSX tomorrow?
I don't know yet. We shall see.
You can also trade Europe. I mean, I like to trade the European markets as well. But no, day off tomorrow. hoping to maybe go to the driving range. I'm going to talk to my father if the weather's nice. He's golfing as well, so we'll see if we can hook up together and meet and do some of that. So I haven't been out with Pops yet this year, so I definitely want to do that. So that's something that I'm looking forward to doing. Obi? Adara? Hey, you're Obi. What's up, Adara?
This report came out about an hour ago, but NVDA, watch out here. Bloomberg reporting that Nvidia is reportedly reaching a deal to buy this software startup Shoreline. This is currently circulating around social media, even though, again, Bloomberg released this report about an hour ago. Apparently, this deal has been struck recently and values Shoreline at almost $100 million. So $100 million deal to buy this AI startup for NVDA, guys.
Someone just asked there, we don't have the thumbnail, I don't think yet, but it is at Alpha Trends right here. It's going to be me, Adara, and Mr. Brian Shannon will be on one more time here for 300,000 subs and followers. Brian Shannon, one of the best in the business there. We have this book, it's over there on the desk. And everyone right now seems to be talking about anchored VWAP. So get your questions ready to go. You can actually put them in right now. If you are going to be part of the recap show, and most are, put them in the chat there, and Bears vs. Bulls, if you do see anything, put them in right now. Tag at Bears vs. Bulls for questions tonight for Brian, because sometimes it gets a little bit excited there, and we miss them in the market recap show. Although we don't have a whole heck of a lot of earnings, but we do have some of this right now. Thank you, Apple. As Apple goes right back up to the upside, we just got a 9 fill, 215.09 for a nice little fill as we decide to flip it over and go long here on Apple as it comes back upside. So again, just trying to play some of that tech strength, and we noticed that, hey, if the NASDAQ's going down, yet Apple's going up, we should probably be long instead of the short. So we'll ring the register a little bit on that one. Nvidia, interesting story there from Adara. If it was a while ago, then I wonder why this move is kind of happening now. I mean, the market now wants to fade out. Do we want to get back into Microsoft? Because again, look at this. We should be short against VWAP.
Yeah, VWAP, it's been holding under.
That's too bad.
I guess
Not patient enough.
Something I'm watching as well is at 175. We only have about, like 5 minutes roughly for the imbalances to come in, and that 175 is creeping closer and closer here on ARM. So maybe we are poised for a potential move here. But again, going into the inbound there. Oh, wow, look at that. Instantly 40 pennies. As I'm talking about it, instantly 40 pennies, 175.40s. Wow, I kind of definitely missed.
What stock?
ARM. I'm on ARM.
Okay,
yeah. Oh, wow, look at that. Straight to 176, 180, 176 is printing the 80s. So absolutely crazy. What a breakout there on ARM, pushing again into the imbalances. So that was quite crazy. We're printing. The spread is quite aggressive as well. 20 to 30 pennies at a time here. Oh, I see that you guys cannot see the book. Let me just pull it up right here. It's for you guys. So right there. So we did break that 175. It instantly 40 pennies, and then it continues for another 40 pennies, printing the 80s there on ARM. So very, very strong. We were talking about this. I was like, yeah, not too much size on it. If that breaks, it's likely to break like butter, and butter it did right through that 175 into 176. What's going on?
You reminded me. Tonight we may go. So this is the first time. This is the first night that we've had, I think, in a couple months where we have nothing scheduled. So we're gonna take the kids. They want to go see a movie. There's that Inside Out 2. I don't know if it's any good. I wanted to ask people in the chat.
You seen the first one?
Yeah.
First one was good.
That was pretty good. It's all those emotions and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty good. Yeah. Okay. And then the thing about that is that I wanted to ask you: are you one of the guys that puts extra butter on the popcorn?
I like just the regular.
Me too.
I like the caramel popcorn.
Oh, okay, the caramel popcorn. Yeah, I like that Chicago style. We get that. I think there's the cheese and the caramel. Yeah. Well, now you're leveling it up. I was just talking about, you could put extra butter on. Yeah. To me, it just gets too much in the hands.
Too much butter is a little.
Bing bong. Oh, it's Bing bong. It's New York City.
We're gonna pass it over to Adara real quick.
Bing bong.
Keep an eye on Toll Brothers. Here's some more news coming out as we head into the end of the day. The U.S. filing a Fair Housing Act lawsuit against Toll Brothers, TOL, and its related entities, alleging that they failed to construct apartments for features with access to people with disabilities. So disability-related lawsuit here for TOL, down about 2%, guys.
Toll Brothers. I mean, running into KB Homes, running into Lennar as well, earnings this week. So definitely worth checking it out. We only have a couple more minutes until those imbalances wind up coming through right now. They did talk about Tesla making a move down. I wouldn't say, I don't know why people are saying Tesla's tanking. It's not doing anything like that. Tesla trying to hold out hope here. And we can't apologize for the market, but I'm sorry. I mean, tomorrow's a holiday. We should have started with that rhetoric in the first place. And that is that heading into a big rebalance on Friday, heading into tomorrow, just kind of chilling out with no market at all, and kind of like one of those big party kind of things. A lot of barbecues, a lot of everything. I was just reading what people in the chat saying that it's Juneteenth is similar to Memorial Day. So, I mean, if that's going to be like that, then yeah, I mean, no one's going to be trading Blue Ocean or anything like that. So we'll wait to see what happens here, opening back up on Thursday. Probably pretty muted. I like the market still at all-time highs and basically flat on the day. Cannot believe we started the day flat and that's where we are right now. Like, boring. Look at this. This is where the market opened, right here. We're down like 20 handles from that spot. All right, hard to sort of get blood from a stone, but the imbalance is out in a minute, Obi, and we'll check those out, and maybe those will give us some more opportunities.
At 175, we're pushing in a
Bitcoin's
177
tanking,
right now on ARM, Sean. So that was great. What a crazy move there. Definitely missed out on that trade. 2 points going into the close. Wild. And it's still going. A little bit of a squeeze action here on the ARM straight to the upside. What's going on there with Coin?
No, just nothing's really going on with Coin. I mean, it's down near the lows of the day for Coinbase, but just, I guess, low of the session. We did have a huge low right off the open. So just lows of, I guess, the first minus that first little open rush. 236. No, I was looking at crypto, 64. You know, it's been a minute since we had 64 on there. We talked about 65. KBH coming out after market. We talked about that, maybe getting some of that Toll Brothers push. They're down. Toll Brothers down 2% on that disability. I guess not making enough accessibility on some of their homes, I guess. But there goes KBH also looking to report. Lennar last night was not good, I believe, unless it's come back. Yeah, down 5%. So they reported not a great number there in the market. But here we go, man. This rebalance is about to happen. So let's have a quick look. Let's watch Nvidia. There was some big opportunities the last couple of days on Nvidia on a imbalance. So here we go. We are now out. Let's just see what is happening. There's Nvidia. It's a buy of 1 million shares. So that should work out well for Nvidia longs as you're starting to see that. Starting to creep back up right there on that imbalance. So I'm not going to take it. Nikola still exists. Okay, that's nice. 40 cents. A little bit of a bid there. It better get better than this for shareholders because 35 cents doesn't seem that great. Bank of Nova Scotia. Oh no, Canadian bank with a big sell side. That's not good. General Motors, Intel with a bid. Seeing if there's any reaction to this. Now we're starting to really pair off. NASDAQ is only 160 to sell. So that's from Madera. Not much happening there. The SPY 500 million. So very, very small offers here. Nvidia is starting to get paired off, but still sticking a little bit higher. And what paired off means is that, look, there was already 10 million shares into this, and they've already paired. Like, Obi, without looking, how many shares do you think Nvidia's done today?
I would say about
I would be nowhere near this.
75 million.
You think that much?
Yes.
260 million.
Wow. That's
like, honestly, that's a good guess. I would have been in the same area as that. Like I said, I was way off. If someone would ask me, I'd be in the 70, 80, I might have said 100. Like if Neil asked me that, I probably would have gone with 100 because like, wow, 100 million. Yeah. 260 million shares on Nvidia today. 60 million shares on Apple. What? Is Microsoft the forgotten one here? Microsoft, 11 million shares. Like unbelievable. How many done on Meta? 8 million shares. Nvidia, 260 million. Similar price name, AMD, 47 million. Stay with the volume. Stay where there's action. Nvidia is the play, man. 351 doesn't look too significant here on the imbalances. Oh, but you let me know if you need any time on imbalances.
No, I think I'm good here. I'm just kind of watching, just holding on to this this Qualcomm as it kind of still chopping and churning this 227 here on the day. ARM, I was watching ARM there, and that was absolutely wild there. So hopefully that was a good trade for a few people there right through that 175. Again, very, very strong trend on the day, and then it continues going off into the inbounds there. A little bit of a slam down from 77s back down to 76, but 76 sustains as of right now on ARM. So these are definitely all-time highs here, and holding pretty strong going into the end of the day here. So yeah, don't really have too much else on watch. TSM kind of gave back all of its move on the day. Intel faded off. We were talking about how Intel is quite strong off of the open, gave back that and more of its gains as well. AMD kind of flushing to the downside. We saw a little bit of a V-shaped recovery happening yesterday. Kind of gives all that back as well on AMD. So here comes that 227. Let's see what we do going into the close with only about just less than 7 minutes left. I'm not really expecting too much from this one here. Qualcomm kind of a dud for the longs there for the most part. Nvidia was definitely the trade for the long, and then I guess Spider not really doing too much. Sideways consolidation there. You can see the ES, nothing too crazy. Slight uptrend holding some of these levels, and yeah, that 20,200, Sean. I'm telling you, that was a bit interesting, and we only chop and churn in and around that level, and we're probably going to close somewhere in and around that level as well as of right now here on the NQs. Or do you have anything else on watch?
No, I mean, I was just looking at, I mean, people in the chat were saying thank you for ARM, so I'm glad that you were able to point that out to many of the traders out there. We can just quickly look at Meta and see how we did on Meta. It looks like we did pretty good. Getting that very bottom of the day there at 495, that'll be something to look at. I was going to say tomorrow, but of course, Juneteenth tomorrow, so that will be not celebrated in Canada as a day off, but of course, they're in the United States, so we will get closed market. So there will be no Trader TV Live tomorrow. So get ready for that. We'll be back on Thursday. Yeah, so it looks like Meta, we did get that little bit of a TikTok story there that Adair brought to us. Doesn't really seem to have affected anything. Sometimes, and the one name that I forgot to look at there was Snapchat. We said that there was always, whenever there's TikTok news, you know, Reels would be something, YouTube Shorts, I guess, affected by that. So that would be Meta, and then Google, and then of course Snapchat, just by the way it works, I feel like would be involved. But right now, not much action there on Snapchat. And Snapchat actually, again, I like the name, but again, some nice highs there. Oh, you know what name that we haven't checked in a while that I really like? I thought Robinhood could be a good little dip buy opportunity if ever, but today, look at this, not much happening there on Robinhood. So I do like that. Did the imbalances just flip around? Apple's back down to 214 right now. Apple's trying to die down to the downside right there. Nvidia might, nope, not doing anything. Let's just check on those imbalances. Sometimes we do get a flip around at 355, so we'll just check this out. We'll keep this up so you guys can see what Nvidia's doing. Yeah, so Nvidia was a buy, now flipped over to a sell. So remember it was 10 million? Well, it got overwhelmed. Like basically, if you're thinking about an IPO or something like that, oversubscribed. So it was a bid, it flipped over to a sell, so now there will be that left over to sell, so they'll have to find more buyers now to pair it off, which they will, and Nvidia will probably print right around where it closes. So again, Nvidia at the high of the day. The high of the day is 136.30. So you're gonna close here on Nvidia at 136, or maybe in and around there anyways. So a great little momentum play back up. Look at this, you can't even stop Nvidia. Once it gets going, it is very meme-ish. Oh, I want to check out GameStop, actually. I forgot about that. That was my whole segue. Oh, I was gonna do going to the movies, into AMC, into GameStop.
Nice. Okay.
Screwed that up. There's GameStop right there, 400,000 shares for a bid, 500,000 and growing. So again, we were waiting for 23. 23 was a very key level there. If you had your eyes on GameStop all day, I feel like you would have been buying down there, so that would have been a couple good buys. We like the reloads, especially when you see a bottom. So this trade at 950 right there. What time is it? 56. I got to get over to the desk in a couple minutes, but let me just zoom this back in just for you guys to see. So once you sort of make this is the mistrade for me. So there's the bottom. Maybe you don't get that. Okay, but if you like the trade, then you could take this long using these wicks as bottoms and then obviously get 10 to 1 or something like that on that. So those are the trades that I like. And we did that on Apple yesterday when we found that 213 bottom. It gave it to us and then we hit it again. So some of those trades are the best ones when you get a confirmation sort of at the bottom there. But all right, Obi, yeah, I mean, I hope that you're not joining me again on Thursday because that means that Neil is able to come in. But if he's not, stay on high alert there because he may have, we don't know the damage that he's done there. But for right now, it's looking hopefully that he'll be able to come back in. So
Hopefully.
we'll sit in here for a couple more seconds to see what happens. But for right now, yeah, I'm probably not going to put on anything else. So thanks again for Obi, and enjoy your day off.
Yeah, thank you. You as well. Again, what a crazy day that we've had here today. Qualcomm, Nvidia, ARM.
Right.
ARM still holding some of those levels. It seems. Where is that? Okay, yeah, 74. Actually, no, it came right back down through that 75. But that 75 was quite euphoric to the upside. 77.36 being the high a day there on ARM. Yes, sir. On ARM there, so we are taking a little bit of a pullback here. 227 still trading on this Qualcomm. I did hold it a little bit through the imbals, just for a little bit of the pops. But we shall see. That 135, 136 still holding as of right now. So I was looking for the reversion here on Nvidia. It doesn't really come in. Comes down to 135s and then rebids right back up into 136s going into the close. Don't have too much time till the closing bell on this one. So let us know what you guys have traded today, saying buying vaccine stocks before they fly again. Yeah, no, I don't know about that. I think Pfizer had some news as well over the past few days, but I don't really have those on watch as of right now. So things are getting a little volatile going into the close here on Qualcomm, but that 227 still holding. Let's see. Yeah, have a great day, guys. Thank you, thank you. I see a lot of thank yous in there. I'm not seeing too many tickers though, but yeah, let's see. So I will, with only about a minute left, I'm probably gonna peace out of this one real quick here. Thank you for that one. Didn't really work out. What's the next trade? Well, tomorrow is a day off, don't forget, and we shall be back on Thursday again. Some strong rebalances happening at the end of this month as well, so something to watch out for. Nvidia closing super strong, strong on the day here. With only about 30 seconds left, I do have to get my finger on the countdown timer as you guys kind of talk about, okay, so net, people are taking net, people are talking about Apple. So yeah, a lot of great opportunities there. Okay, so wait, I clicked it a little too early there. So that's fine. I'm gonna kind of wait a little bit. There we go. Now we got it. So 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Thank you, Adara. So thank you again for your time with us today. Hopefully you guys had a good time there. Yeah. Closing here, closing prints on Qualcomm 22709. So definitely an interesting area, lots of volume kind of happening there going into the close. And then Nvidia also closing in and around this 135 mark here, 135 and some change, 135.70s I see here. So pretty much sideways action since the strong selling action came in earlier on the day. But yeah, hopefully you guys had a great time here today, and we're going to be passing it over to the big desk with Adara and Sean and special guest Brian Shannon soon enough. So stick around for that one. Have a good day off tomorrow, and make sure you enjoy the weather. The weather is pretty beautiful. What's going on, Ramin? And yeah, so make sure you get out there, enjoy the weather. We know a couple of the boys are going golfing. Sean said he's going to the range with his dad, so make sure you spend some time with family and friends. And yeah, we don't usually get a day off like that in the middle of the week very often, so definitely some time for rest and relaxation. So without any further ado, you guys have a good one. Take care. I'll see you guys around.
All right, thank you so much there, Obi. I mean, good job covering there today, and we'll see if Neil can get repaired up there and come back in for the next couple of days. What another day today it was here in the market as we just load up everything now. Yeah, market just continues higher one more time. But it was a little bit of a quiet day, and for good reason. We talked about that. Thanks for the well wishes there, Obi, and I hope you have a great day off yourself, because he's right. We don't normally get these days off Happy Juneteenth, everybody that is there. We will have Brian Shannon coming through later on. I will go and let you guys know that he is the author of Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP. So that's always awesome when he comes through. So we'll be ready for that one when he does come. But right now, the NASDAQ finishes the day up 0.03. So pretty slow on that overall. We did have a nice move in gold. We talked about just yesterday with Michael Noss about uranium. That started to go up to the upside. Some other names, ARK down. I mean, look at ARK. ARK has been really struggling here with these rates. You know, some of the names up, down, and around. I mean, earnings season gets really fun with ARK, but for right now, kind of just chilling out. I just noticed it because we don't normally cover it right there. Again, a lot of rate-dependent names. And if the futures are signaling here, we could call it the Fed rate tool, which we'll do in a minute. Right now, the market's looking at 2 rate cuts right now. But the Fed has kind of said that they may do none. So we'll have to wait to see if that does come in to play or not. Did we get the recap out? The tweet out for the recap show? Don't think so. Okay, that's fine. I'll stop looking for it. That's all. All right, SMH today. I mean, the day was led by Nvidia. Honestly, I mean, we keep talking about the SMH. Make sure you do check out the Freedom and Wealth podcast. But look at this, man. The semiconductor index just continues to go to the high side. Adara, what is the second holding in SMH?
It's not Nvidia. I'm guessing that's number 1. AMD?
Close. Taiwan Semi. TSM.
Oh, that makes way more sense.
Yeah, so TSM right there.
That's a good look for Taiwan Semi.
Yeah, exactly. And Taiwan Semi, again, continuing its upside move as well, up that 1.3% today in TSM, as that kind of just up on an island by itself here on the daily chart, just coming through right there on TSM. So that's a great move back up there to the upside. Not too many red sectors today. Airlines a little bit. Cannabis, puff, puff, pass on that one. I don't know if this is hitting the indica or what, because it's a little sleepy right now. Down into the downside, yeah, it's a little couch locked. It's couch locked right now there, jonesing out watching Pineapple Express. So right there, MSOS, a little bit of a downside move. I think there's a lot of potential in the cannabis names just because we do have election time and it's always not really heated, but we could get some more talk in some debates. I feel like there's something up with that, and we'll be able to get it. USO continues higher again here today as well as we go. I guess XOM had a good day. Oxy, we talked about some of those plays as well. Occidental up 2%.
I saw Warren Buffett's been adding to this apparently steadily for the past 9 days. Now he has just under 29% of total Oxy. I saw that on CNBC. I need to read the article again in full, but I did see apparently 9 days straight of adding to Oxy.
All right, well, okay, good call there. I mean, I'm glad we brought that up.
I'm going to find that link so I can send it to you guys and in the chat.
All right, good. Yeah, $62 looking to see about Occidental. Occidental kind of looks broken to me, man. We went up to 70. We broke through the 50, broke through the 200 period. XOM, I like XOM, monster buyback underneath it. Also with CVX, Chevron also has that buyback underneath it, both at the 200 period moving average. If you like oil names and energy, I mean, go for these names. XOM right there, and then, of course, we just talked about CVX, both at levels that are probably investable. You have the dividend there as well. Well, we could talk about some of these with Brian and maybe how they look on the energy side of things. We know that Brian was talking a little bit about the S&P 500 on his Twitter, and we'll get to him.
I thought that was a good intro.
On that one again. Yeah. It's Hydration Nation. I don't have the thing up here, so let's... Man, I'm still going to download that app that somehow tracks how much I talk. I think that would be... You would probably beat me, like, per minute, but, like, I'm just on the air longer, but you're on the air a lot. You talk a lot during the midday. And then I do. Yeah, so anyways, I think me and you might hold the record.
Competition, yeah, we should do that.
You want? I mean, I'm pretty competitive.
Yeah, I don't think I can download apps on my phone anymore, but once I get the new phone.
Yeah, let's find out. Let's find out.
Let's find out.
All right, so Ramin has an opinion on this. Who does?
Sean? Oh yeah, you would know better. Yeah.
Victory. It's like that Spider-Man. We're pointing at each other.
Yeah, that's funny.
All right. Well, that might be true. Probably is true. But you talk faster. Yeah. Right? Have you ever, when you were younger, micro machines?
What is that?
You don't know what micro machines are? Oh my God, this is so okay, boomer maybe. No, they're the little cars. They used to have little airplanes, little cars, like little Corvettes and micro machines. Anyways, the guy, who's in the chat here? Help me out here.
Also, there's
the guy that was the micro machine guy used to talk like, hey, grab the micro machines, blah, blah, blah. He used to like talk like super, super fast, super, super crazy micro machines.
I need to look that up. Yeah, I've not.
Am I on? Let me see what the chat is saying here. Let's do a little quick roll call. All right, who's in here talking about micro machines? I mean, okay, here we go. All right, John Del Segno, confirming, maybe, I don't know if he's confirming it or not, but he's saying micro machines. All right, micro machines were tiny cars that were in a carrier case. Yeah, I think if I can still find them.
Oh, I know what you mean. I didn't know they were called that when you have them zipped up in the little thing and they come in like the little cars and you put them on the.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I knew what that is. I didn't know they were called micro machines.
Yes, man. Micro machines, yeah, were OP. Yeah, damn right they were OP, man. Micro machines were OP, and yeah, and Hot Wheels and all that stuff with the track.
That's what I mean, Hot Wheels. Yeah, that I know.
No, Hot Wheels, no, not the same thing. Micro machines are like a tenth of the size. Brendan, you know micro machines? Of course. Man, this must just be an age thing. I'm dealing with these two young ones here, Brendo. It's unbelievable.
Also, there's a super chat from Willis Addison.
Okay, what's up with that?
Thank you so much, Willis Addison, for the $2 super chat. Happy Juneteenth, Black American family, and some emojis. Here we got a recycling emoji. We have the law emoji, a salute emoji, I think an army hat emoji, and some hands. So thank you very much, Willis Addison, for your $2 super chat. Hope you have an awesome and restful and enjoyable and fun Juneteenth.
Yeah. That's, I mean, it should be great. You have any plans or?
I have to get my passport dealt with.
Ooh la la.
Yeah, I'm
going
gonna have
to the United States, huh, Darren?
No, I just it's gonna die, so I need to renew it before it.
Yeah, mine already is past expiration.
Oh yeah.
Apparently once once it happens, it's not a big deal anymore.
Oh really?
Yeah, I can renew it very, very quickly.
Oh yeah, I just want to get it done, so I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
I'm trying
Wait,
to.
what about? I know you have some. You guys are gonna maybe go to the movies, do some golf.
Yeah, we're gonna do the movies tonight thing. We're gonna see Inside Out 2. That's what's.
I've heard it's good. Yeah.
Okay, good. We're getting some. Okay, good. Yes, I know.
Ooh.
Yes, it's a
That's
hockey.
fun,
Yeah, it's pretty cool there. I'm having a hard time loading up the Trade Ideas map for what stocks were hot today. So once that loads up, I will get that. Oh, here it is right here. Okay, so let's go over to the full screen and just have a quick look at some names before we do call on Brian coming through again here today. Of course, the market rallied again here on Tuesday, but not huge. The S&P was up obviously a little bit more than the NASDAQ, helped, of course, by Nvidia and Apple right there, taking a downside push, right? Apple, Google, Meta, Microsoft, all red names in there today, right? Nvidia becoming the top company in market cap now for XLK. So that would make sense as we get a little bit of a reweighting in some of the big names, leaving Nvidia back up there to the upsides. Today was a little bit off-putting how many talk and the plethora, as we wrote down here, of Fed speakers that came throughout the day, sending some little awkward moves back and forth there. Fed's Kugler saying that she sees one rate cut later this year, and we actually talked about this earlier, that we could still get that two, we could potentially get none. Meta underperformed today for sure, down 1.4%, the worst of the bunch. We did get some news potentially positive for them with the TikTok ban and some of those sort of headwinds for TikTok, potentially tailwinds for both Meta, Google, and Snapchat, names that we had talked about a little bit there. Nvidia, brand new record highs again today, up 3.5%. Other names of note, Tesla down there, 1.38%. Procter & Gamble, some of the industrials trying to come back, some of the manufacturers as well. Eaton Corp upside right now, 0.69. Deere up 1%, which is nice to see for sure. Caterpillar. So I like the XLI. I feel like there is some names here that we could buy in the utilities, or sorry, in the industrials. So, you know, again, nice little bottom pick there. Some of them paying decent size ETFs. I feel like you want to say something.
KB Homes earnings came out.
All right, let's go.
Looking through those, yeah. So we did get Q2 revenue. That's going to be a beat. 1.709 bill versus the estimate of 1.651 bill, so nice little beat there. Net income also a beat, 168.4 million versus the estimate of 139.8 million, so 169.4 million versus 139.8 million expected, so beats across the board.
I still love how there's still some micro machine talk here in the chat.
Yeah,
That's
people
great.
are getting excited about those.
I'm sure Brian, when he comes on, I'm going to ask him about micro machines. You think he's going to know them or not?
I think he will.
Me too.
But we'll find out.
We'll see. We'll ask him. Maybe I shouldn't have said that too loud, but now he's going to hear about it. Okay, so right there, nice move up there for, let's see, actually. Let's zoom in on this KB Homes number. So, whoa, okay. There goes KB Homes. So we didn't get a great number from Lennar yesterday, and KB Homes today was down because of it. Let's just go out here to a 5-minute chart to see KB Homes today. Yeah, so nice downside move there, but look at this, man, 68 up to 70. Let's go over to a daily on KBH. Yeah. Still has a little ways to go. Let me call up the weekly to see where we are exactly on all this. Some of the home builders are not built the same.
Oh, good pun.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, Toll Brothers, as you can see, KB Home starting to go up to the upside. We'll check out Toll Brothers again, fading off of its 52-week high, but could get some momentum back in. And then Lennar, we saw that today, pulling back as well. So it looks like KB Homes, different than the rest, trying to take out its all-time high here, 73 and change, and still going. KB Homes, a nice little extension move here in the after hours. Let's drop this down. Oh, that was the weekly. Let me just drop this back into a minute to have a quick another look at this. Yeah, wow, nice move. And I mean, because Brian's coming through, sometimes you can go back to the most recent bottoms there. And I mean, you could drop the good thing about Trade Ideas and some of the other platforms there is that now they have anchored VWAPs built right in. So if I drop this anchor right there to $60, and again, maximum trading gains here with your anchored VWAP. So check out this book if you're wondering about what we're talking about. We will have Brian Shannon on in momentarily. But if you drop it right there to this low back in April 18th, and then we zoom in a little bit, you can see the anchor is actually kind of where we were at today, $68. So looks like now if you're going long into that area, maybe you can hold it back into 67, 68, where that anchor was off of the bottom. So a nice little move up there for KB Homes. I don't think we're really expecting any other earnings.
That was the only thing I saw on the docket entirely. So just that one name.
Okay, good. A lot of people in there talking about Nvidia, right? And talking about where are we going to get out of this name. It's gone up so much. We did get a $100 super chat, which is still here. Justin, if you're still here right now, thank you so much for this $100, man. Oh, boom. I'm just going to say boom on here. I forgot that you could comment on it. So thank you so much, Justin, for all of that with a couple likes there as well. Asking about holding Nvidia or getting into AVGO, holding them both potentially into the weekend or at the end of the week. Look, Nvidia's off, man. I mean, maybe we could ask Brian if we were going to use anchored VWAP, potentially where a good spot for this would be. Obviously, year-to-date anchor, you could drop it down here. This was $47 back in January, split adjusted, of course,
Yeah.
so $470 back on January 1st. Adara, you're at $135 right now.
I know.
So you're, year-to-date, you're just an absolute monster on this name here today for Nvidia, although today not a huge move. But where's the year-to-date number on here? I think it's actually on the next page.
That's crazy.
Percentage year-to-date, well, I'll have to get it. There it is, 173% for Nvidia. And I think Broadcom is going to even be better than that. And Broadcom has the tailwind, of course, of the split still incoming.
That's true.
I mean, we all thought that when Nvidia split, hey, maybe that party's over. It split down at 118. We've added now on that 15% since that day. I'm wrong. Broadcom change is only 61%. How dare I say that it has matched or beat Nvidia right there. And again, and thank you. Look, this is how much love we have in our chat right now. Everybody's shouting out Justin right there again.
Justin's still here. He said traders stay late. Yeah. So shout out to him.
Traders stay late. Oh, yeah, by the way, I guess I'll be doing more of this now because of Neil's out of commission.
Oh, yeah.
It's all good.
More of
all
this,
good.
yeah.
It's all good. Right there, let's just check out GameStop before we call on Brian. GameStop right now, again, I just want to see if there's some movement. Sometimes we do get some movement there after hours on GME. But again, not all meme stocks are built the same. And we'll use that same thing again for this because look, we had sort of drew in a couple lines here that I noticed that are not straight, and that was this $23 area. Seems like $23 since earnings has been a good hold spot for them. Again, earnings were dropped early. It hasn't broke back down through $23, so I think GameStop is a good opportunity there, especially as a day trade. I don't know if you want to hold it overnight or over the weekend because then stories come out and we don't know which way it's going to go. But if you're intraday trading, $23 has been a great bottom, and then just to look at where we were today on GME, that came into $23.60. So that was, again, trying to pick the bottom is a very, very dangerous game. It's much, much better to look at an area bottom, and that would have been that $23.50. So I think we'll look at that for GameStop tomorrow. We do have Brian coming in. Oh, yeah, Thursday. One more drink before we get Brian. It's Trader Talk. Let's bring him in. Mr. Brian Shannon, how are you doing on this fine and very, very warm Tuesday here in Toronto? How are you doing?
Well, we got a nice cool day here in Denver. It's under 80 today, so nice break from the heat. Sean, I was just looking. I can't figure out what is this microcomputer you're talking about.
No, micro machines. They're little mini cars. They're called micro machines. They're micro machine minis, and what they were like Hot Wheels, but little small cars. So I thought maybe you had heard about it. And the sales, no, okay. Must be a Canadian.
Tell me more about them. What, they're actual cars?
Hold on a second. No, they're not cars. No, they're just toys. Micro. Hold on, I'm going to Google them
They're
here.
like Hot Wheels.
They're like Hot Wheels. They're just little toys. So here it is here. If you kind of do it, maybe we go over to images here, Brian. See this? They're just little like replica cars. So you'd be able to get them. They were real fun. They used to have little tracks, and then they morphed into that. Now I'm getting excited. They used to morph into little army things and various little mini cars. Here he is. This is the dude right here. Micro Machines. The guy talks a mile a minute. Yeah, this looks like Sharif there with that mustache, actually, right there. But anyways, those are Micro Machines. I digress, obviously. Not many people have heard of them as much as I thought. But there it is. So you collected Hot Wheels, maybe?
Oh, of course, yeah. When I was a kid,
hot
definitely.
Stuff. I wonder if those are worth. I wonder if those are worth anything now. Like, were those our days NFTs? I don't know. Micro Machines. Cabbage Patch. I still have a Cabbage Patch.
American
doll,
Girl dolls.
There, Brian. All right, let's go. Me and Brian. Let's talk a little bit about trading right now, just real quick. I noted something on your Twitter about a new anchor that you want to drop potentially here on the ES. Due to the Fed talk, is there a target maybe? I saw Goldman upgrading the S&P 500 to 5,600 bucks, 5,600 as a target. As I look at the SPY, we're at 550 right now. I mean, how high can we go up here? I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, we are really extended from the 50-period moving average now on the spiders. Same thing is for the NASDAQ. Whenever I look like this, I always think that there's a pullback incoming. But what are you talking about? We just noted it off your Twitter there that you want to talk a little bit potentially about where we're going to go and potential Fed rate cuts or not. If we're long spiders, do we have anything to worry about? Does it look like there's a potential pullback incoming?
The way I see it, Sean, we're in a healthy uptrend. It's innocent until proven guilty. Nobody knows where the top is, and our job is to manage risk for the time frame that we're involved in. I mean, you're in and out all day managing risk on day trades, and you've got longer term positions that you're going to hold. So it just depends on what you're looking at. I posted one yesterday actually for the Qs based on the measured move, and that was the weekly chart. Let's go to that weekly chart. And it was basically just saying the height of this A to B move, and this would be the B to C move, and that would be the C to D move, which basically we take the height of this move and add it to where this new rally began, and that would give us 498, which obviously is close to the 500 level, which is a round number where it seems this market kind of is being magnetized to. So, 500 looks doable, and then what happens when we get there is anybody's guess. The job is not to guess how high it can go, I think, but instead to say, hey, the definition of trend is still valid. I'm going to raise my stop up underneath the most recent relevant high or low and let the market tell me where to get out. And it's always time frame dependent.
I think that's important. I think it is definitely dependent on what where you're swinging, what's your risk tolerance, where how much do you have invested, have you taken some out? I mean, I gave the advice today actually on the show. We got that super chat about Broadcom and Nvidia, and basically I was just like, hey, take some out. The trader already took out 100% for 100% profit, about half of their position. They had their best trading day of the year today on those positions. So I'm going to say congratulations again to Justin. But do you get those feelings too when you're in a big trade? Sometimes it's like, wow, this just happened real quick. Nothing wrong with taking a piece out and then reassessing, and sometimes looking, even if it's the same trade, take a piece out if the move happens a little quicker, and then maybe look for that extension. I think, and again, to talk about Jim Cramer, pigs do get slaughtered in this market. You do have to take profits when your goals are hit. It's the same thing about managing risk, but on the flip side.
Greedy pigs get slaughtered, disciplined pigs get rich. So the idea is obviously to hold as long as possible and to embrace the greed when you get these types of moves and say, hey, I want to hold it as long as possible, but take a little bit off along the way. Absolutely, 100% makes sense there, especially for a stock that's, that's running like this. I mean, every stock pulls back at some point. Take a little bit off and, reduce the overall exposure to your account. And, if you get a sizable pullback, maybe you can buy back more shares than what you sold and still have the same dollar cost basis.
So, Brian, we're going to do a little bit of Q&A a little bit here with the audience. I already have a couple that have been lined up, and I don't think we've talked about this enough, but Kyle wants to know about volume. So if you come over to my chart just real quickly here, I'm noticing right now that in the spiders, I have the volume down here. We're not getting like huge amounts of volume. Today was 40 million shares. The day before, 50 million. If I go back, so I was thinking to myself, maybe it's seasonality, right? But then I go back to last June, and we were at 100 million, 75 million. Like some of these numbers back here, we're getting, looks to be pretty dead right now. What do you think the reason for that is? And then is it just that price pays and volume's just sort of a secondary thing? Or do you try to look at volume and try to figure out potentially why we're a little low? And does that volume ever affect some of your decision making?
The volume doesn't really affect my decision making by itself. About 2 weeks ago, I think somebody posted that the SPY had traded the lowest volume in 12 years or something like that, and today was even less than that.
Yep.
So, it's easy to say only price pays, but we want to look at it in terms of the holistic price, volume, and time. And when we look at things like the year-to-date anchored VWAP, and we see that we bounce perfectly from that. That's more important than just saying the volume overall, because you look at the volume and what's been happening. We've been melting up on light volume. So people will tell you, well, the advanced decline line is weak, low volume. This market has to crash. It's going to end badly. It only ends badly if you don't have a plan to get out. So it's taking it in chunks, Sean, from this most recent little pullback. Our anchored volume weighted average price here on this 30-minute time frame, that was from the 10th of this month. Well, we found buyers there last week, and we continue to move higher. So if you just take it in chunks and say the volume weighted average price since a certain time, I think it gives you a much cleaner look. And with the SPY, I don't think you can trust the volume too, because we've got 100 different ways to trade the S&P 500. You've got big futures, little futures, micro futures. You've got the SPY, you've got triple SPY, triple short SPY, double, options on the SPY, SPX, SPXU. I mean, it's crazy how many ways there are to get exposure to the S&P 500.
Yeah, valid point. I think they talked about Nvidia something like in 300 different ETFs. I mean, ETFs are exploding. So it's like if you're not trading SPY, we talked about the XLK, Qs. I mean, there's so many different ways to trade. So great answer there about volume. Thanks, Brian. I'm going to pass over to Adara, who has a stock-specific question.
Okay.
Hi, Brian. Hope you've had a good Tuesday and a good week so far. There's a question here in the chat from Zero Gravity Zen wanting to know your thoughts on Adobe. I mean, Adobe had earnings pretty recently. So what's your take on this stock as of right now?
Adobe, I thought that, it's kind of, it reversed the downtrend, but it's having trouble with the year-to-date anchored VWAP. Right here, that's this pink, thick pink line. And we've got a declining 200-day moving average overhead. I think that it's probably, neutral at best. It's coming into this range. I don't see big upside. I could be wrong in it. I would say if you're involved in it, worst case stop goes below the pullback low right here. But I think there's more exciting stocks to be involved in that are in primary uptrends with a rising 20, 50, 200-day moving average.
Sure. How much of the macro story do you ever, obviously you're a great technical, trader, and we talk about VWAP and talking about all these different price action movements and stuff like that. How much of the macro environment do you consider in your trades, especially if they're longer term ideas? Like Adobe right now kind of got clocked with AI. I mean, Apple's going to be putting in more and more, artificial intelligence into their programs as far as editing is concerned. You're going to be able just to make your own emojis just right on your phone, all this kind of fun stuff like that. I'm sure you're really excited about features like that. But no, all seriousness, do you consider macro events like that, or are you just looking strictly at price action and trading off of that?
I do better when I just look at price action from a trading standpoint, Sean. But I like to be aware of what shapes the psychology of the market and what are people talking about. Since you brought my charts up there, I was going to say I'm back in TGTX.
Oh, boom!
I know we spoke about it a couple of weeks ago, but here's a story. Here's one where I'm aware of the story. They had earnings. There's a big short position. The shorts have been covering. I got back involved in this stock today. I think for it to really get going, if it breaks above this little peak right here on the 30-minute time frame, then it should start to really head higher. We've got a rising 20-day moving average, 50-day moving average. So I'm using this stock also to answer your question, which is
right.
If I can be aware of the story and it matches what the chart is saying, then it gives me a little bit more confidence. But if I'm looking at this story and using that as a justification to stay in a stock that's not working, that's when you have problems. You start telling yourself, well, the story is this, and the shorts are screwed, and this drug is selling or whatever. So I am my worst enemy when it comes to fundamentals. I start believing it, and that has cost me in the past. So I try to separate them as much as possible, and I've been pretty good at it with this stock so far. As I said, I got back in it just today, so there's a little follow-up on this stock as well.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and thanks for being honest about the positioning and entering and exiting. I had a question today about ZM, so Zoom, and I really didn't know how to answer it. We got a super chat in there, so I'll give you a second to call it up. And the question was like, what do I do? It was basically what is this trader supposed to do with their Zoom position? I don't know what their position is exactly. I'm going to assume it's long, and they're stuck long on this trade. But this weekly chart looks pretty bad, man. I mean, I don't know. As far as the COVID darling is concerned, there's going to be worse names than this, but not many. And it's funny because their earnings per share, $1.35, they did project a negative quarter coming up. So we see minus 0.03. So again, talking about some of the macro stuff, it's not looking great for Zoom. And if we even go to a daily chart right now, I mean, it's just breaking, and it just had a nice event. And I think this is why we got the question there. Just after earnings in the last couple of days, absolutely tanking to the downside. So I'm just going to ask you, like, I basically said, until we can regain at least past support levels in and around $60, I don't really see any reason to stand in front of this. I'm sure you're going to give similar advice, but is there something that maybe if the trader was looking to potentially average into the position, I think you're going to agree with me, you got to wait for it to come back up and give us some sort of a sign that someone else is buying this other than you?
Yeah, I'm looking at this longer term, and I mean, this is the lowest it has ever traded. It's never traded lower than this. This is an all-time low.
Right.
And I don't mean to be flip with this response, but I think that you'll get a bounce as soon as the ARK funds are done selling.
Okay.
I'm not taking a shot here. I guess indirectly I am. But as you know, I'm not a fan of their risk management techniques.
Right.
In the ARK funds, they owned, at the beginning of the year, 8 million shares of this stock and put a price target of $1,500 per share on it. Today, they own 3 million shares. So in the last 5 months, they have sold 5 million shares while telling people they thought it was going to go to $1,500 per share. Someone should probably be in jail for that. That's over $1 billion lost in this stock alone.
Yeah.
They're down to 3 million shares. And here's what I think is happening is that there are big hedge funds just shorting against this, knowing that that supply from the ARK funds is there. And once the ARK funds are out, and they publicly disclose this, you can go to cathysark.com,
yep.
CATHIES. And once you see them get out of it, I think you'll get a tradable bounce. But as far as a longer term turnaround, it just looks dead in the water. There's, the phrase is, if they don't scare you out, they'll wear you out. And
Yep.
this has just been one that's, been bleeding lower for, since those 2020 highs.
I mean, what a great response there. I wish I would have thought about going over to Kathy's ARK and figuring out what their current position was, because, again, an absolutely great response to that one.
I think it's 3.3 million shares last time I looked.
It just makes sense because they're applying pressure to the name, and as they keep talking their book, they're doing something completely opposite. So you've actually been very, very descriptive in the destruction of wealth that certain ETFs have created, and you've brought one up here today as well. Okay, is there any other names you want to talk about? It's 4:30 right now. I don't want to keep you too late. I know that everyone can go follow you on X at Alpha Trends. You talked about TGTX there. Anything else that's sort of catching your attention right now?
Speaking of another stock that the ARK funds are in,
Sure.
And I think, it's not going to hit their price target of 2,500. I think you know what stock I'm talking about. But last week we spoke about Tesla.
Yep.
And we were talking about how it was holding that 50-day moving average, and that what I wanted to see was a shakeout. And if this was a shakeout, that maybe it could recover. So what we're seeing now is that earlier in the year, we had one close above the year-to-date anchored VWAP. That was right here. Now we closed above it yesterday, back below it today. But I think that Tesla could be setting up for a tradable bounce up that 200-day moving average near about 205. So when we look at a shorter term time frame, this is the recent little bounce that we saw. So this was the pullback last week.
Yep.
And I think if we just kind of settle in here a little bit and then make a higher high, that Tesla can be traded. Worst case stop, Sean, probably under this pullback low right here from last week. So I think it's starting to shape up. I'm not long it yet. I want to be long, and I think it has the ability to move up to 205 to 210 or so.
Yeah, we had, I called up the Tesla chart, and we have that same line built right here, right at 170 or so off that bottom from last week. So yeah, I like Tesla there. I think that there's some talk there. Elon likes it now that that pay package is sort of behind, and we can get paid and maybe move out of Delaware there. We'll figure that out with Tesla. So I think there's some tailwinds there for sure. Okay, Brian, thank you so much. Again, Maximum Trading Gains with Anchored VWAP is the book that absolutely everybody needs to go get. They can find it on Amazon. They can go find you at Alpha Trends. One more time. Enjoy your day off. Any plans?
You know, oddly enough, I think I'm going skiing.
That is pretty odd, but that's enjoyable. That is for sure. Make sure you say hi to your family for us here and enjoy yourself on those hills and be safe. I know you don't want to go tumbling down. You know, Neil hurt his Achilles here today, and we're going to make sure. Yeah, I know. So we'll see how long he's out for. But Brian, enjoy it. You deserve it. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone goes and checks you out. Thank you. It's Brian Shannon.
Thank you, Sean. Thanks, Adara.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, from one to another, let's go. It's a roll call. All right, we got to get out of here, man. Adara, any plans for tomorrow? We'd already sort of talked about this.
Oh, yeah, I have like a lot of passport-related stuff to get done tonight,
okay.
so I can get the passport tomorrow.
I don't think it'll be that long of a line at the passport office.
I hope so.
Yeah, going on a random weekday.
Oh, I'm gonna go with the crack of dawn. Yeah, Fabian's saying go early.
Yeah.
I agree. I just want to get all the ducks in a row for that.
Do you ski at all, or?
I had an incident involving I had to get forcibly dragged off the ski by those things that like come and drive you on my 17th birthday. So that's a no. What about you?
Wait, hold on a second. You had an incident on the ski lift?
No, so they had to like, you know, when they like have to pick you up off the thing because you've like wiped out so hard.
What thing? The hill?
Yeah, they have to get you off the hill with the moving thing. So I wiped out so hard I ended up in the ditch with my legs over me and my glasses went flying, the ski went flying. It was
so they had to get like a stretcher kind of thing.
Yeah, like that. That's the word you want. I was mostly fine, but yeah, that's yeah, skiing, good times.
Okay, yeah, no,
Do
I
you
don't
ski?
no, I don't ski. Interesting story. Okay. Make sure you check out the Freedom Wealth podcast. No, that's okay. That's okay. I don't know. I was hoping you're okay. Like you weren't hurt or anything.
No, I am fine. It was just.
I know you're fine now, but
yeah, it wasn't like anything major. I just think they were like, we don't know what's going on. Get the stretcher out.
Right.
It was
It's kind of like what I feel like every day around here. Okay. Hey, roll call. What's up to Neo Roberts Ski Patrol sleds? Maybe that's what it was. What's up to Andrew Chow? What's up to YZ is here. T Daddy is in the building. Hey, DJ Marshall, peace out to you as well. Monty G is here. Andrew Chow. Darwin is here. Brian Shannon's here. Thank you, Brian, for coming on again and great ideas there. I love that Zoom talk and some of that selling and all that. So that was great right there. What's up to Molfar? Chase Bands is here. Willis Silverthorne, Travel Buddy, Kyle, T Daddy. And again, hey, Bears versus Bulls. The best moderator in the business. I want to say thank you for everything that you've done for us since you've been a part of the Trader TV Live team. And again, you definitely enjoy your day off. Well deserved. Probably the hardest working individual part of our team, but just don't tell that to Ramin.
Oh, yeah.
Because then she'll cut your mic immediately. All right, again, thank you to our wonderful guest, Brian. Always comes on, and a big, huge fan. We are a big, huge fan of Brian's, and he is a big friend of the show. So thank you, Brian. Have a great day for yourself as well. And everybody else out there, I'm Trader TV Sean. Go find me at Trader TV Sean. That's Trader TV Adara.
It is.
You can find her with a similar handle all over the place doing all these nice Instagrams I saw. You're walking around.
Yeah.
You're doing the market week ahead.
I do the week. We filmed the new week ahead today. Shout out to Fabian. So we're gonna get that ready for you guys on Sunday.
And the hottest podcast right now on YouTube. You click that, you go find it right now. We did do another episode of that as well today, talking all about discipline and making sure that you do have some of that in your trading plan and in your life in general. Happy Juneteenth, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm losing my voice. Ciao.
Bye.